Greetings. Greetings. I'm in here. Let's see. Okay. All right. Greetings, family. It is November 5th, 2023. My name is Cassandra Floyd, also known as the daughter of the Fates, here on a Sunday to do this service. And I'm going to tell you, right out the gate, it is good morning, Yellow Rose. Child, let me tell you, okay? When I tell you it's much easier for me. I'm sure it is for most folks. Greetings, Asia. Yeah, y'all come on in. I'm going to just banter a little bit while I'm waiting for everybody to come on through. I know y'all excited about today. You feel me? But I'm just going to say, this process of studying the Bible this week. Greeting, Mystique. The process of studying this Bible this week, and the process of preparing to deliver y'all a sermon today. Like, look, one, I'm going to tell you, I am going to need a serious detox after this shit. Yes, I am. I'm not saying that shit lightly. I'm going to need a serious detox after this. I have been, thumbing through on my own terms through the Bible for about 7 years now. And it's just every now and again for specific things that come through from the mother, right? But it's not something that I'm spending hours doing, reading this book. It's not something I'm doing on a regular basis. It's every now and again, right? I've spent so many hours in this book. I've spent way too much time listening to Christian sermons about the end of time. I did that this week. I listened to conspiracy theories about biblical prophecy from everyone, child, not just Christians, from, quote, members of Hamas who have turned over a new leaf and gave their life to the Lord, from Hebrews who are now Christians, from, baby, when I say I've been in this shit, and I didn't realize how triggered I would be, because I don't listen to sermons ever. I have not been in a school. Actually, the last time I heard a sermon was when I went to church with my mother in February. And that was a feel-good sermon that confirmed something my mother and I had already been talking about. So I knew that was purposeful. You feel me? But hellstone, hellfire, brimstone, damnation, horror stories of the Revelations type sermons, I ain't heard that shit since I was a kid. And I'm going to tell you, I did not sleep well the last couple of nights. I'm not joking when I say I am going to need a detox from this week. I am happy. This is going to end up being a wormhole that I enter into this shit right here, because I did not realize how, I knew kind of in the corner of my mind how important it would be to deliver a message that is wholly new and completely antithetical to that which we have all been taught, whether directly or indirectly, just via proximity to Abrahamic religions. And we are all in proximity to the influence of Abrahamic religions. But when I tell you, even going on YouTube and putting in the search engine things like, end time not real, or revelations not real, or prophecies not real, You can't freaking find them. Like there is no real like outward massive movement expressing opposition to this story, this horror story that's been put out by the church primarily. And I'll be honest, even as the church, the Catholic Church and the Protestant Church are the deliverers of this chronic horror story imposed on the consciousness of the entire globe for a very long time. Arabs, the Muslim world, and Jews, the Judaistic world, have so many stakes tied to this Christian ideology. Israelis see themselves as the center of all world occurrences. And Muslims, or the Muslim world, see themselves as attached to this prophecy. You see, Americans are hedging all their bets with the Hebrews, even though for the greater portion of American history, Americans, as white people, have hated the Jews because they believe the Jews are responsible for the death of their Messiah. Now, all of a sudden, all these churches, all these preachers are saying we have to set our sights on Israel. We have to support Israel. Baby, the shit that I have seen in the last week, watching these videos, man, of preachers I grew up hearing about. John Hagee is still preaching. I didn't even know this dude was still the fuck alive. He's been preaching since I was a little girl. All of the shit I watched on CBN, man, when I tell you, spend one day, and I know because my big mama, who I love, God rest her soul, when she lived with us for a little while, she would sit in front of the TV and not move. I am not joking. And watch CBN all day long. She would get up to pee. She would get up to find herself something to eat. And she would sit in front of that TV watching this madness all day long. I had a client who passed away recently. Same thing. Every time I went to treat him, every time I went, oh, that's all he was watching. I spent a week watching that shit. And I felt like there was a spell being cast over my consciousness. And I do not say that shit lightly. The repetition of certain words, the images of certain things. Yo, when I tell you, I'm not joking. I am going to need to be buried in the dirt. You understand what I'm saying? I need to dig a big ass pit somewhere in some rich jet black ass soil with only my head exposed and be completely embraced in the mother's body for about 3 days. That's how polluted I feel. And to think about these people, because I think about my family, I think about Christians that I know, Christians that I grew up with, people who are good goddamn human beings, good people, good giving people, generous people who show up, good human beings. And to understand that their ideology is making them sick because what they believe is completely contrary to their behavior in the world. What they accept as truth is contrary to them being good human beings. It's contrary to them being good people who show up for anybody. I had regular, everyday, working class white Christians show up for me so many times in my young life. But the ideology is contrary to that. It is. When you can accept, I heard John Hagee say, child, some shit that was so disturbing. I'm gonna put that link to one of the videos I watched, because I watched several, just trying to get scriptures that could like consolidate, my study. Some of the shit I heard this man say today, not 20 years ago, not 30 years ago, today. And to know that every Southern Baptist fundamentalist church in this country is saying the same thing, that is calling for the annihilation of human beings, that is saying we just have to accept that God knows. And come hell or high water, we have to always side with Israel. The way he talked about Muslims in a sermon in a church filled with thousands of people. Who, child, when I tell you, okay, I am going to spend a couple of days purging, and I'm not joking. And I am going to be better prepared. I was slack. Because when I go into spaces that I don't know, you understand, that I'm not familiar with, I do what I do. I put my little crystal quartz on my neck. I put some black crystals in my pocket. You feel me? I got my energetic spacesuit on so I can hater block. You feel me? And I did not do that when I got in this study. And I am in my feelings. I'm beside myself. So y'all needed to know what your oracle did to prepare for this word today. Okay, honey, y'all need to know what your oracle went through to prepare for this study today. So I told y'all last week, I've been telling you almost every day this week, to have two things. Well, I've been really harping on one, but our Bible as the temple of evolutionary emergence is the great cosmic mother. Reading Letitia is the great cosmic mother rediscovering the religion of the earth. This is our Bible, among others, because we don't have just one Bible, but this is the scripture right here. This is the word right here. You feel me? And I have this book with me today. I have several books with me today because I told you're going to have to come up in here today with your pen and paper. This is a workshop we're doing today. Okay? Barbara Walker's The Women's Dictionary of Symbols and Sacred Objects we have today. I am really frustrated, but again, I have to really organize my life because I intended to have the book The Symbols with me today, and I looked all over the place yesterday and could not find it. I could not find my copy of The Symbols, which has got me kind of in my feelings, but we will make do. And then the other book we have today is Barbara Walker's The Women's Encyclopedia of Myths and Secrets. And then we have, last but certainly not least, this thing right here, the Holy Bible. Okay. Now, so let me pull the shit together because there's so much, and I also need to learn how to narrow when walking in this book, because there were so many ways that I wanted to approach this lecture, this workshop that I'm going to do for y'all about biblical prophecy. There were so many approaches, and I still have not narrowed. So I'm going to seem all over the place, but just know that this is probably going to be an ongoing discussion that we're having. It might be for our Sunday services the topic of discussion for some time, because I'm going to tell you, while we out here, singing kumbayas of love and light and shit, these preachers, these evangelists, these human beings are in churches all over the country. One, attempting to use good old-fashioned terror tactics to refill their previously empty churches. And fear is always the way that can happen most easily. You terrify the shit out of people and tell them that there are no other options. They will come right back into the embrace of that which is working diametrically against them. You understand? So one, I saw hundreds, I scrolled through scores of videos, and every single video based in Christianity, Islam, or Judaism is terror shit. It is end time prophecies. It is what is to come. It is, the biblical history of what is happening in the Middle East right now and why we must take sides and shit. It is all terror talk. All of it everywhere. There's not one single Christian or otherwise YouTube channel I went on where they were announcing good news. Not one. Not one. And this is purposeful because, again, Christianity, Judaism, Catholicism, I'll say Christianity as both Catholicism and Protestantism. You understand? So Christianity, Islam, and Judaism are hard at work to reaffirm their dominance over the consciousness of the entire globe. That is what's happening in real time. I just heard Vladimir Putin in Russia deliver a speech yesterday talking about the Bible and the Holy Scripture in favor of Russia. Putin talking about getting back to old biblical morals. Putin delivered that speech yesterday. I said, okay. So when I got into this thing, I was like, where do I even start? Where do I even begin? Okay? Because I have scores of scriptures written down that I want to walk you through. I have a lot. So what we're going to start with, let me just start with this. I did a presentation, a live, some time ago, maybe over the summer. And in this live, I forget the title of it, but in the title, it is something to the effect of like getting Putin. In the title of this live, greetings, Lotus Flower. In the title, Lotus Flower, do me a favor, put this on blast. Y'all like, share, subscribe, send this out to others so that they can be in here live. Okay, like do a blast real quick. And Lotus Flower, send this to Sister Erica. So anyway, what was I saying? Oh yes, in this live that I did, I talked about, in the title, it's something about like witch trials or the new witch trials or something to that effect. But in this live that I did, which I re-listened to this week, I talked about evangelical fundamentalism and the different ways that it expresses itself, and how despite all of the noise that we're hearing about war and rumors of war and all of this shit, that we, especially as women, cannot be distracted. That what is coming down the pike, what they are using as preparation for the masses of people, is to readily accept the reinitiation of the witch trials, of attacks on women, on aggressions on women. And everything becomes the issue but that. There was a campaign that was launched maybe last year or the year before called something to the effect of the supermajority. This campaign is initiated by women, and the whole thing is about winning women again to the electoral process, and about because we outnumber men in population in the United States, that we have to use that power of numbers to get the things that we want from the state, right? And that we are the supermajority and we got to go out here and vote for our guy, right? The state in all its manifestations recognizes this thing that apparently we just getting hip to about the power of women, especially women organized in numbers. And so this is not, these things are not happening apart from each other. What I am seeing in this video that I talked about, the growing narrative that is getting people on board with aggressions against women, socially, culturally, in popular music and popular culture, all of these like insidious narratives implanted and embedded in the narrative to get us on board with betraying women, that will leave women completely wide open to all manners of diabolical aggression. That's happening, right? And so I will tell you to go ahead and revisit that video. I just did it this week because again, I want to assure you that the mother speaks through me, and I allow that. I accept it. I appreciate it. I hold it in high reverence. So when I went back and heard it, I was like, damn, I was dropping some jewels. Like mother came through with that attitude on that day. So go back and watch it. So some of the words that we will hear in these days. I will also say this. Let me digress for one more minute. Astrologically, I keep telling you, be prepared, be ready, because what we are witnessing is in response to astrological transformations that are huge and pivotal right now. That are pivotal right now. And because we don't study astrology, because we, and I'm not talking about those of you who are listening. I know the majority of you that are listening are up on game. I may be preaching to the choir, but that's what I'm here for. The thing is the great majority of people do not study astrology, don't know a thing about astrology, don't give a fuck about astrology, and don't know how astrology is radically impacting their life in real time. And so these things that are in especially the book of Revelations as signs and evidence of the end of days and Jesus coming back for the church and all of this stuff is based on astrology. Like when they talk about the moon, being as blood and the sun being black and all of this stuff, this is astrological talk that they're having. And so before we get into the essence of what I want to talk to you about today, I found the scripture this morning. I was like, oh snap. So y'all know I spent a lot of time last month talking with y'all about October and how monumental it was. How the month of October this year was literally like the galactic gunshot that tells you, all right, go, right? Such a big month, such monumental astrological movements and occurrences in the month of October. So this morning, as I'm trying to round out the rest of my study for today, all matter of fact, like I find, hold on, let's see, 871. So y'all can turn with me if you have your Bibles with you to the book of Joel, Joel, book of Joel. Chapter 2, verse 31. So this is the first scripture, okay, that came through this morning as evidence of biblical prophecy. And I'm telling you this because I've been talking to you guys for a while about the month of October. Okay, so let's see here. Okay. 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 So y'all ready? Okay. So the scripture that I found this morning is Joel 31, but actually I just went back a little bit to see, what the couple of scriptures before it said. And I want to go back a couple of scriptures. Mm-hmm. Okay. So we're going to go back to greetings, Jai. So we're going to go back to Joel chapter 2, verse 28. And then we're going to read to the end of 31, which is the original scripture that I saw out. Greetings, Valerie. Okay, everybody in the house. All right. Okay. All right. So we're going to go back to, for those of you who are just tuning in, we got the Holy Bible, which I told y'all to come prepared with today, as well as with pen and paper, because we're going to walk through this end time prophecy, and we're going to state a position as the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence that is in direct and total opposition to this shit that is being put forward. That was the reason for my introductional diatribe. Is like looking for people who are in opposition to end time prophecy. It's hard to find. So in Joel chapter 2, verse 28 through 31, and it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit on all flesh. Your sons and daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions. Even on the male and female servants in those days, I will pour out my spirit. Oh, fuck. Oh. And I shall show wonders in the heavens and on the earth, blood and fire and columns of smoke. The sun shall be turned to darkness and the moon to blood before the great and awesome day of the Lord comes. Greetings, everyone. Now, why did I read that when I'm talking to y'all about astrology and biblical prophecy? Because if you go, so that was Joel 2:28 through 31. Let me mark that. Joel 28 through 31. If you go to, let's see here, Luke 22:10. So let's go on over. Keep in mind what we're talking about. If you go to Luke 22:10, okay, Luke chapter 22. Verse 10. Okay. Let's go back. Actually, let's see. Then, okay. Okay. All right. All right. So we're going to go back. Even though I said 22:10, we're going to go back a couple of verses to verse 8. Okay? 10 is the crux, but we're going to go back to verse 8. Mm-hmm. It says, so Jesus sent Peter and John, saying, go and prepare the Passover for us, that we may eat it. They said to him, talking about Jesus, Where will you have us prepare it? He said to them, behold, this is big. Behold, when you have entered the city, a man carrying a jug of water will meet you. Follow him into the house that he enters, and tell the master of the house, the teacher says to you, where is the guest room where I may eat the Passover with my disciples? And he will show you a large upper room. I'm going to go one more verse down. It will show you a large upper room, furnished, prepare it there. And they went and found it just as he had told him and prepared for the Passover. Okay, so verse 10 is the big one. Okay, so why am I starting with an understanding of October, of astrology, of its presence in the Bible? Why is that significant? Okay, because Luke 22:10 and Joel, what was it? Joel 2 28 through 31 are astrological stories or astrological verses. What are they alluding to? Somebody, can anybody tell me what they are alluding to? It says here, listen, in Joel 28, and it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit on all flesh. Your sons and daughters shall prophesy, and old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions. Even on the male and female servants in those days, I will pour out my spirit. I will show wonders in the heavens and on the earth, blood and fire and columns of smoke. The sun shall be turned to darkness and the moon to blood before the great and awesome day of the Lord come. You feel me? What is the pouring of spirit alluded to in this verse right here? Yes, Carlotta. The pouring out of spirit is he in heaven. He in heaven who is holding a pitcher of water that is seen as the stars being poured over humankind. The waters of heaven being poured out over humankind. That is indicative of the story. Yes, the coming of the age of Aquarius. He who pours out wisdom over mankind. And Patricia, yes, dear, thank you so much. Patricia says, the reason that I'm talking about this is because we just had in 1 month, in the same month, in the month where the veil is most thin, in the veil where the veil is most thin, we just had in 1 month a solar eclipse, a blackening of the sun, and a lunar eclipse, a blood moon in the same month, right? So that's why, and I'm telling y'all this because I am telling you, this is what these preachers are preaching in this church. They're not preaching it as astrology. They're preaching the sun turning dark and the moon turning to blood as biblical prophecy. They aren't teaching it as astrology. They aren't teaching it even as the book is saying this is astrology we talking about when Jesus says to his disciple, his two most trusted disciples, they say, where are we gonna do the Passover feast for you, Lord? And he said, go into the city, and there will be a man carrying a pitcher of water, and he will meet you in this city. Follow him into the house that he enters. Who is the man bearing the jug of water going into a house where we all must enter? Don't got no choice. We don't have a choice. We all enter the house. Where the man who bears the pitcher of water is going. Who is the man bearing the pitcher of water? It is the sun and his movement out of Pisces and into the age of Aquarius. Thank you so much, Nakia. Thank you so much, because I am on one about this whole androgyny that occurs in astrology. Right? There's a lot of it because the water bearer isn't the only one that has been said to have been a woman. Also, who we call Mercury, right? The messenger God, the great communicator between man and heaven, is also said in old tradition to have been female. Okay. Oh shit. Oh shit. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So why am I starting that way? Because according, greetings, Erica. So happy you could join. So listen, I hear what y'all saying. This is gonna have to be another topic for another day. The historical transformation of female deities into male deities, which is something we got to get into, and what some of y'all are tuning in late. But what we were getting into earlier is how this thing that I'm going to be talking to y'all about today, this is going to have to be an ongoing conversation that we make very public and spread far and wide, because there is no antithetical narrative in mass that is happening that is attempting to counter the horror story being presented to the world as the book of Revelation and end time biblical prophecy. There is no great narrative in opposition. I can't find it. You feel me? So this is something, I just made a note of it, that we're going to have to add to this discussion about the history, which we are clear on, of the goddess being transformed into male, or the goddess's characteristics being transformed into male. Okay, so let's pause on that aspect of the discussion. Why am I talking about this today? Because we just came out of this most incredible month, and a lot of these guys are using 2023 and 2024 to hype up the narrative about end time biblical prophecy. This isn't just a spiritual question, by the way. So I'm going to digress for a second. I've been looking at, I told y'all, I go through my Facebook memories pretty regularly because there's some pretty profound, impactful shit that comes through my memories that help me to understand, like, if I've grown or if I'm in the same place I was 10 years ago or 12 years ago or whatever. Yesterday, in my Facebook memories, came up a bunch of pictures about this event that I organized 7 years ago called the Black Power Awards in Atlanta, Georgia. And that, aside from all the extra stuff, that piece of work was so monumental because we deliberately organized the Black Power Awards the week of the of the presidential election that elected Donald Trump. We purposefully organized our event the week of that election, right? Thank you, Nikita. That is such a wonderful compliment. I appreciate it. I take it. I accept it. We deliberately, we said through the whole year that we were organizing this event, that this event was about establishing an institution of dual and contending power, that instead of begging the state, instead of begging the white world for recognition or for those things that we need, that we needed to actively participate in a process of building institutions of dual and contending power. And that institution, the Black Power Awards, was radical. It was radical beyond imagining. So I'm going back through videos of the award show. I'm going back through speeches made by elders and stuff like that. And I am like, yes, that was right on time. Here we are. And the reason why it was right on time is because every time, a year to 2 years before a presidential election, they pull out all the terror tactics, all to get you invested in the electoral process again. You understand? Every time there is a presidential election, there is some terrible thing. There is some monumental catastrophe. School shootings and public massacres increase every time. Go back in history. Go back just for the last 20 years and see when do a increase in mass shootings and school shootings peak. And I'm guaranteeing you that at least 1 to 2 years prior to a presidential election, you will see a sharp increase in mass shootings and in school shootings. Every time there are these cataclysmic events orchestrated to terrorize you into seeing that your only hope for a future of some little bit of reprieve, is to go to these polls, you feel me, and hedge your bets in this institution. Okay. So here we are again. And as a matter of fact, the Ukraine-Russia thing happened 2 days after we entered the first Pluto return. 2 days later, we entered America's first Pluto return, meaning where Pluto was when this bitch was born. And we thought it was some coincidence that we entered into this diabolical conflict with Ukraine and Russia 2 days later on the entry of America's first Pluto return that people have been talking about for 5 years. Oh my God, America's first Pluto return. And not just here in the United States. Everybody on Earth was looking at America like because they recognize whatever happens in America is going to have a ricochet, a freaking shockwave impact on the whole planet. Oh my God, America's first Pluto return. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Everybody paying attention except those of us here who have been conditioned to believe that astrology is woo-woo. But everybody else on Earth is talking about, oh my God, America's first Pluto return. America's first Pluto return. Whatever, right? 2 days later, we involved in this radical conflict, entered into this radical conflict between Ukraine and Russia. Okay? Here we are 2 years later. 2 years later. You understand? Right before, the year before this next presidential election, which will probably go down in history as the most controversial, because you're going to have a convicted felon run, and people are saying, I just heard some commentators last night say, there are no good candidates running for election. This election is Trump's to win, Trump's to lose. That only he can fuck it up at this juncture. What do they say? He has 9 felony charges right now. That this election is his to lose. Only he can fuck it up because he ain't got no competition. No competition. Okay? Now, so when I talk to you about astrology, I am not just talking to you about, how to prepare for your week. Even when I was talking to you guys about the solar eclipse and the lunar eclipse, I'm not just talking about you as individuals. There are no individuals. I am talking to you about how we are preparing for this year coming. Okay? This year is defining 2024, especially for people of color, especially for colonized people around the world. This is our year to take if we can sidestep this terror narrative that is attempting to proliferate every square inch of brain space and spirit space that we have. Know that. Okay? Now, I didn't mean to talk about that so long, but just be mindful of that shit, because Revelations, the book of Revelations, is a book of astrology. Let's see, man. Revelations is a book of astrology. Okay, so now let me tell you, like I said, this year was all over the place. And so I have to start kind of creating very many sections. Thank you. I'm gonna write that down. Thank you, Valerie. I'm gonna start breaking this shit down in sections because we're gonna be talking about this for some time. I think this is what is gonna be our bag for a minute. So today, I wanted that astrology piece was just kind of a preface because I want to talk about. First, I want to talk about the Hebrew people, or the Jews, or the Israelis, whatever you want to call this group of people that are the center of all attention on earth today. And then I don't want to spend a whole lot of time in the Bible today. I did pull it out for scriptures that I wanted to specifically talk to you about, but we're going to spend more time today in our Bible. Okay. Yep. They're trying to feed off. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Okay. So the Hebrew people, as a matter of fact, let's pull out, if you have it, because I didn't prepare you this way, but assume from now on, Temple Service, that you need to have your copy of the Great Cosmic Mother too. Okay. But that was the place that I wanted to start, was who are the historical Hebrews. Okay. And are there such a thing as chosen people? Now, I've already stated my position. I should state my overall position and the reason that I am even attempting this project that we about to be on. Let's see, An October surprise is a news event which takes place shortly before closely watched elections and which may influence the election's outcome. Okay, Erica. Thank you for that. An October surprise. Okay. This is good to know. I need a research team. Who among y'all, hold on, let me do this real quick, are going to be my research team? Who among y'all are going to volunteer to be on my research team? Okay? I need a research team. Yeah. Okay. What was I saying? Oh, who are the Hebrews? Okay. So let's go to our word, the great cosmic mother, rediscovering the religion of the earth. Okay. Now we are going to go, let's see, to page, let's see, is it 155? I got so many pages marked in here for today. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So for those of you who, yes, okay. Carlotta. Okay. So for those of you who have your book, The Great Cosmic Mother, we're going to turn to page 155. If you're some of the books, from what I understand, like some of the re-releases, the pages are off a little. So if your pages are off, just go to the chapter called Moon Mother. Go to the chapter called Moon Mother. It's going to be around 155, but it's that first page of the chapter. Okay. For those of you who were with me during my book club breakdown of the Great Cosmic Mother, then you should have your chapter's number. It is chapter 27 because it doesn't come numbered. So it's chapter 27. And so I'm just going to read a little bit to you because we need to understand who these self-proclaimed chosen people are and what their origin is, since it seems to be a mystery. Okay? So in the first section called Moon Mother, she talks about who these people are and where they emerged from. The earliest representations of the Moon Mother, and perhaps the most universal, were in the form of a cone or a pillar of stone. What was it that we just read? What was it that we just read about the pillars and stones? In Joel 2:28 through 31 about the pillars of stones. And didn't we just read that? Okay. This is the mother. The earliest representations of the Moon Mother, and perhaps the most universal, were in the form of a cone or a pillar of stone. This is the column on which the death in life goddess perches, she, the anointed one. The stones themselves were considered sacred. Sometimes they were meteoric, and they were anointed by having ritual oil, blood, or fermented liquor poured over them. The great Semitic moon goddess Astarte. The Semitic moon goddess Astarte. Let me just mark this really quick. Y'all ain't ready. And I know y'all don't remember it. Listen. The great Semitic moon goddess Astarte was worshipped on Mount Sinai by the Canaanites in the form of a stone pillar, long before Moses received the stone tablets of the law there. Mount Sinai, in fact, means mountain of the moon. And it is interesting to note that the Hebrew Levite priests were originally serpent priests, i.e., Levi, the great serpent, as in the Leviathan. The early Hebrew Levite priests were originally serpent priests to the moon goddess Astarte atop the mountain of the moon, otherwise known biblically as Mount Sinai. There is a close resemblance among moon mothers everywhere. This form, in this form of the great goddess is always, in this form, the great goddess is always the lawgiver, the orderer of time. The orderer of time. The orderer of time, the judge of the dead, the eternal source of wisdom and ecstasy. She was Ishtar of Babylon long before 3000 BC. As the Hindu moon mother, Kali sits in her lotus posture, breathing the rise and fall of our earthly tides. The Irish goddess Caoimhe, or pronounced Kali, sits in her lotus position also and does the same. Even Mary of the Catholic Church is called, quote, the moon, and she is turned to by women in childbirth as her original Diana Artemis Astarte self. In her form of the great whale dragon, in Babylon, Tiamat, Hebrew, the Leviathan, Ishtar brought about the great flood. Ishtar brought about the great flood, an earthly disaster story the Hebrews borrowed from Sumerian and Babylonian accounts. But Ishtar also lamented her drowned children, comparing them to the fishes in the sea. Comparing them to the fishes in the sea. And it is always in the form of the great serpent or dragon or sea monster that the moon mother was slain by later patriarchal heroes. What does she say? It is always in the form of a great dragon or serpent or sea monster that our mother was slain by later patriarchal heroes, as in Tiamat or Tiamat, then Vitri of the Vedas, of the Gorgon Medusa, of the dragon slain by St. George, or the snakes driven from Ireland by St. Patrick. Listen, I'm making a point. Y'all just got to slow walk with me. Y'all know how I do. In fact, there were never any or many snakes in Ireland. The Christian saint symbolically killed a female fiend in serpentine or dragon form, whose Irish name was Caerthanach or Cora, called the devil's mother by the pious. The threefold goddess of Arabia, Magna Dei. Listen, the threefold goddess of Arabia, called Magna Dei or Magna Dea, was enshrined in the sacred, listen. So we just talked about the Hebrews, the early Hebrews, okay? Now we're talking about Arab. We're talking about Arabs. We're talking about Muslims, okay? The threefold goddess of Arabia, Magna Dea, was enshrined in the sacred black stone, the Kaaba at the Mecca, where she was served in ancient times by her priestesses. I want y'all to hear me. The sacred black stone at Mecca, the site of so many pilgrimages, is imprinted with her vulva yoni sign and covered with a black pall called the skirt of Kaaba. The male priests who serve her today are called Beni Shayaba, which means the sons of the old woman, i.e. the moon. I.e. the moon. Present-day Muslim pilgrims to this shrine, the most holy place of all Islam, are mostly unaware of the pre-Islamic significance of the Kaaba. They circle the black stone 7 times to attain the summit by spiraling around it. 7 is the number of the moon, and the ancients always danced the way in spiral processions to the summit of her earth mounds. Now listen. Remember, walk with me for a minute. Remember I said a little while ago, I talked about the Black Madonna. As a matter of fact, several times I've talked about this, but in particular, since we've been reading Pure Lust by Mary Daly, I've talked about the Black Madonna. And I've said this before, but I'm going to restate it now. When I hear so-called conscious people, particularly conscious Black men, talking about the Black woman is God, and how, quote, even they know that Black woman is God, because see, the Pope got the Black Madonna all up in the Vatican, kissing her feet and worshiping her, right? Remember that? Remember how I told you it came to me that this is not what we're seeing when we see the Pope kissing the feet of the Black Madonna, or praying to the Black Madonna, or worshiping, quote, worshiping the Black Madonna, that he is not in fact worshiping the Madonna, that he is spell casting to contain her, right? This is an energetic spell casting to bind and contain her, right? And I likened it to remembering, as soon as that came to me, the first thing I thought about was that scene in The Golden Child with Eddie Murphy back in the day in the early 80s, where this child that was supposed to save the world, that was the savior of the world, that the devil needed the power of this child, but the only way for the devil to access, listen, the only way for the devil to access the power of this pure child was to corrupt the child, right? Hence, he was trying to feed the child blood and shit. And then he also had the child bound on 4 sides by monks turned rogue. Listen, by monks turned rogue, praying in the 4 cardinal directions around the child to keep the child bound. Are y'all hearing me? These monks turned rogue, quote, turned from the light to the dark, turned from the good to the evil, turned from the devil to the from the good guy to the bad guy, the devil, using their wisdom as monks, sitting on the 4 cardinal directions around this special pure child, right? Praying 24 hours a day in the cardinal directions to encage the child. The only way that the bad guy could siphon power, this pure perfect power from this golden child, was to make the child impure. How did he make the child impure? Or how did he attempt to make the child impure? Through blood. Through blood. Through blood. Okay? Here, so that's the golden child. That's what I had likened to seeing these priests who have the Black Madonna held hostage in the Vatican, in the epicenter of white supremacy, spiritual white supremacy. The Black Madonna is being held hostage in a golden cage called the Vatican, being prayed to and her feet kissed on, and being confined, being imprisoned by spells, by prayers, by ritual, right? And here she says the same thing about the same mother. It's all the same mother. The Black Madonna, Astarte, Magna Dea, all Ashtoreth, Oshun. It's all this. Yemaya, when she talks about the serpent who drowns the world in the great flood, but she lamented her children who she saw as the fish. That is Yemaya. That's Yemaya, right? They're all the same mother, the seven-headed, same-faced mother who personifies differently in different places. Okay? So here we just read about how the Arab priests have done the same thing. That the Arab priests, not just the priest, every man in the Arab world, every Muslim on earth, functioning. Listen, it says here, the black sacred stone at the Mecca, the site of so many pilgrimages, and I am told that women cannot make. Am I wrong? I think I heard somewhere that women cannot make the pilgrimage. Women can't go to Mecca. That only men are called to come to Mecca to make the pilgrimage. I think I'm right in that, right? Somebody check me if I'm incorrect. But I think that's right. Only men are called to make the homage. What is it? The homage, the homage, the pilgrimage to Mecca. And so you see this giant black clitoris, because that's what it is, the sacred stone, covered in the skirt, right? Because it says here, the black sacred stone at Mecca, the site of so many pilgrimages, is imprinted with her vulva yoni sign and covered with a black pall called the skirt of Kaaba. The male priests who serve her today are called the Beni Shabbat, which means the sons of the old woman, i.e. the moon. My present day Muslim pilgrims to this shrine, the most holy place of all Islam, are mostly unaware of the pre-Islamic significance of the Kaaba. They circle the black stone 7 times, representing the 7 different personifications of our mother. And the ancients always danced the way in spiral processions, meaning going backwards, counterclockwise, to the summits of her earth mounds. This is how they tapped into power, was to dance their way around her widdershins, counterclockwise, to siphon power. Is that why women cannot make the pilgrimage to Mecca, or not called to make the pilgrimage to Mecca? Because this big, giant, black clitoris, surrounded by thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of men, may awaken something in her goddamn cellular memory? Listen, I don't hear no feedback. I don't see no feedback. I don't know if y'all rocking with me. But I just told you that the same thing that we witnessed in the Vatican, in the Roman Catholic Church, the holding hostage of the divine black mother, in this golden cage being prayed around all the time to ensure that she does not reemerge. Here, the same thing. Being surrounded is just the same. Ain't no women in the Vatican. None. There are no women in the Vatican. Surrounded by males all the time, ensuring that she does not reemerge. Here, the homage, the pilgrimage to Mecca can only be made by men. And you see men by the thousands and scores of thousands daily encircling in a singular movement around the giant, massive black moon, black stone, black clitoris in the center of the most highly revered city of the Muslim people. Moon shrines and sanctuaries were situated in forests, in caves, and on mountaintops, and by lakes and sacred springs, wells, and they're also healing centers. Priestesses guarded the water supplies. As well as the sacred fires. This was true even in Roman times, where the priestesses were called Vestal Virgins. Water springs originating deep in the earth were believed to have magic and healing powers. And fire was the fertilizing power of the moon. The sacred flame represented the moon's light. Torches and candles, bonfires were burnt to help keep the moon's fertilizing light shining. The bonfires torch processions, and candle burning at Christmas time originated in the fire rituals of the goddess. On December 13th in Sweden, St. Lucia travels in procession as the Queen of Light with a crown of candles in her hair, surrounded by her maidens. Even now, and course, even now, and of course, the evergreen tree, the gift exchange, and the midwinter festivals of Christmas all derive from ancient pagan midwinter rituals of the goddess. Saint Lucia of Sweden on December 13th, the festival, the festival of the Greek Hecate on August 13th, 13 members in the witch coven, in the number 13 seen as unlucky because of its association with matriarchal religion. Among pagan Scandinavians, Friday the 13th was celebrated as a beneficent day. Friday is Freya or Frigga's number or day. The great goddess of the north, and 13 is the number of the lunar months in a year. Many patriarchal bad omens are simply reversals of what was sacred to the matriarchy and goddess religion. We had a Friday the 13th also that was governed by Oshun in the month of October. And Friday is also Oya's day, by the way. It's her worship day, Friday. The left-hand path in patriarchal religion is called the path of evil, of woman, of black magic. The left side of the body, where the heart beats, was considered by the ancients to be the seat of divine feminine power. Y'all ain't heard. All life comes from her heart. The word sinister, which originally meant left, has come to mean everything suspicious, evil, and ominous. While dextra, meaning in Latin right or right-handedness, has acquired wonderful meanings like skillful, mentally clever, and correct. In Europe, an illegitimate child was long signified as bar sinister, meaning child of the left side. Child of the left side, a child born illegitimate. Child of the left side, bar sinister. The mother's side, the mother's side, the mother's side. Why do everybody hate single mothers? Why does everybody hate single mothers? Because her babies are born of the mother's side, child of the left side. The right-handed path is supposed to be the path of goodness or of white magic, and children encouraged to favor the right hand or the hand of righteousness. In Christian imagery, the good sheep sits on the right hand in heaven, while the bad goats go to the left. These connotations remain with us in modern politics. These connotations remain with us in modern politics is not accidental. The right is the father fascistic, the left is the mother communal. Ancient moon priestesses were called virgins. Virgin meant not married, not belonging to a man, a woman who was one in herself. The very word derives from the Latin root meaning strength, force, or skill. I'm not just going to be reading. I'm making a point. So y'all just rock with me. Y'all can still give me feedback. Okay, it says the it meant one in herself. The word derives from the Latin root meaning strength, force, skill, and was later applied to men. Virile. Okay. Ishtar, Diana, Astarte, Isis, and I'll add Oshun, were all called virgin, which did not refer to sexual chastity, but sexual independence. And all great culture heroes of the past, mythic or historic, were said to be born of virgin mothers. Listen, all heroes of the ancient past were said to be born of virgin mothers. Listen, all heroes were said to be born of virgin mothers, not just your Jesus. It said Marduk, Gilgamesh, Buddha, Osiris, Dionysus, Genghis Khan, Jesus. They were all affirmed as sons of the great mother, of the original one, their worldly power deriving from her. When the Hebrews used the word, and in the original Aramaic, it meant maiden or young woman, virgin, with no connotations of sexual chastity. But later, Christian translators could not conceive of the Virgin Mary as a woman of independent sexuality, needless to say. They distorted the meaning into sexually pure, chaste, never touched. When Joan of Arc, with her witch coven associations, was called La Pucelle, the maiden, the virgin, the word retained some of its original pagan sense of a strong, independent woman. The moon goddess was worshipped in orgiastic rites, being the divinity of matriarchal women, free to take as many lovers as they choose. Women could surrender themselves to the goddess by making love to a stranger in her temple. This has been called by male historians sacred prostitution, but the word is totally misleading. This was not any kind of service to men, nor did any woman have to do this to live. It was a way for women to participate for a ritual moment in the trans individual being of the goddess. The goddess comes into being in the moment of union, a moment of psychic as well as sexual union. This was the one way that men could partake in her essence too, although was through the body of a woman. The rite was meant to recharge the living goddess and to enlarge the woman's ego consciousness into an experience of cosmic sexual power and flow. It was a way for each woman to experience herself as the moon. Okay? Okay? So, why did I go there? I read a lot of that, but my initial reason for reading that was about the origins of what we call the Hebrew people as goddess worshiping people, right? Let's see. Let's go to, if y'all are still following along, let's see. I don't want to read that. Okay, let's go to page, let's go to page 184. See, we got a lot of catching up to do, so I hope y'all are rocking with me. I hope y'all are walking with me. I know this may not seem directly tied to, quote, end time prophecy, but it is exactly tied to end time prophecy. To know the supposed end is to know the beginning, and we do not. Most of us do not know the beginning. You understand? Our beginning, no matter what religion we are, for whatever reason, starts about 6,000 years ago. In the age of Gemini. No, in the age of in the age of Taurus. That's where human history starts. But at least have the Bible tell it. Human history starts about 6,000 years ago in the age of Taurus. You understand? Have the Torah tell it. You understand? History starts the Torah, which means bull. This starts in the age of the bull. The Quran starts in the age of the bull. Like somehow we just popped up under a turnip tree in the age of Taurus. You feel me? So I'm going to be reading a couple of more things to you from the Great Cosmic Mother to talk about. Okay, so over the last few weeks, we talked about a couple of things. We talked about continuously the formation of the Godhead and what are the reigning Godheads created by human participation. All human participation feeds this thing. And that is the God of war of Abrahamic traditions or Abrahamic religions. Because even though they say that they worship different gods, you understand, Jesus in Christianity, the Virgin Mary and Jesus in Catholicism, Yahweh in Judaism, and Allah in Islam, they all are the descendants supposedly of Abraham, right? And their God is one and the same. The features of their God are one and the same. Their features are all one and the same. So I heard this dude today, I can't remember the name of the YouTube channel, but was talking about the difference between Allah's, between Muslims' God and between Christians' God. And like he's saying, this is an Arab saying this, who's turned Christian. Allah is a God of vengeance and war and this and that and the other, but the God, of Christianity is our friend. You understand? He is, he's the Muslim says that the God Allah talks about us, his children, in a relationship that should resemble the relationship between a slave master and his slaves. And Jesus calls us his friends. He calls his disciples his friends. They said this with a straight face, as if Christianity has not spilled more blood than any religion in the history of religions. Right? So anyway, the question of blood is what I want to talk about next, because it is a big theme in the Revelations, which I promise we're getting to. But I want to talk about the theme of blood and why blood is sacred across all traditions, why blood keeps coming up, how blood keeps coming up, especially in Abrahamic traditions, okay? But before we get to the Bible on the question of blood, I want to talk to you about what Barbara Moore says about, this is very short because she has about 4 or 5 chapters on the significance of blood, blood rites, blood ritual, the history thereof, how it looked in different cultures, the whole 9 things. But there were some significant things that I wanted to read to you about blood, okay? Let's see. Okay. Okay, let's start here. Let's see. Okay, let's start here. So for those of you who are following on, we're on page 184. We're going to go the second paragraph down from the earliest Stone Age. From the earliest Stone Age, the process of birth was the prototype for process of spiritual rebirth, of higher birth into the heavens as an immortal or a star. But with increasing male domination of religious ideas and the priestly projection of hostile fears onto the great goddess, this higher birth was seen increasingly as a break away from the mother. The first birth was into, quote, mere flesh, but the second was into manhood, a state of non-material immortality uncontaminated by the female process. At this point, the spirit begins to be defined as everything that is not earth, everything that is not nature, everything that is not female, i.e., it becomes an exclusive possession of males as elitist as it is abstract. In the early small kinship group structures, matriarchal societies, the custom of examy had led women to take mates from outside the mother clan. So the childbearing women were always the cohesive group within the community. Isn't that a stark contrast from today? Childbearing women being the scourge of the earth. Every problem identifiable by men, especially black men, is the fault of some baby mama. Isn't that a huge flipping of the script? Let's see. The childbearing women were always the cohesive group within the community. Their mates tended to be visitors or blood strangers to the matrifocal group. Among the matriarchal Hopi, where the women propose marriage to the men, the husband moves into the women's home, which she inherits from her mother. But he spends most of his time at his mother's house, where he is blood related. The same customs were found throughout pre-colonial Africa and no doubt existed among all our European pagan ancestors. Now listen, this is the big part. To gain some cohesion and sense of participation, these outside males bonded together in rituals in which they imitated female processes. Listen. Okay, I need a minute. Are y'all still here? Are y'all still here? Is anybody still here? I need a hands up. I need a high five. I need some kind of inclination that I'm not on here by myself. I guess I'm on here by myself. Anybody? Okay, so I guess I'm just doing one that'll go out later. Okay. To gain some cohesion and sense of participation in these outside participation in the matrifocal group, these outside males bonded together in rituals in which they imitated female processes. As Bruno Bettelin writes in Symbolic Wounds, it is probable that all men's initiation rites were originally based on the men's desire to imitate, participate in women's menstruation and childbirth, which were overwhelmingly magic events, magic because of their periodicity, as well as their blood power. Australian Aboriginal males cut wounds in their penises, inserting stones to keep the wound permanently open. This rite imitates female bleeding, and the wound is called in their language a vagina. Okay? During this rite, young men pass through the legs of older men, being reborn from a male womb. Nowhere can we find any rites or mysteries in which women have tried to imitate a male processes or function. This alone tells us the source of original mana or power. All blood rituals derive from the female blood rituals of menstruation and childbirth. Listen, this is why in the Bible, Jehovah's covenant with Abraham was ritually sealed with the lifeblood of Abraham. And this covenant is kept by circumcising the foreskin of every Hebraic male infant. The Hebrews, like everyone else, were originally goddess worshippers. And it was her magic blood that symbolically sealed all covenants. The Hebrews, like everybody else, were originally goddess worshiping people, and it was her magic blood that symbolically sealed all covenants. As the patriarchy solidified its power, however, many of the blood ritual imitations of women's functions were turned into taboos against women's functions. Taboos of avoidance and hygiene. As the biblical Old Testament illustrates, patriarchal society placed heavy taboos and penalties on the shame of menstruation and on women during and after childbirth. So that's one thing that I wanted to say about blood. This last thing, according to Barbara Moore, that I'm going to say about blood, and then I'm going to take y'all to the scripture that apparently y'all are so eager to get into, right? Is on page 193. Page 193. So after she talked about how all male blood rites were attempting to mimic the inherent power in women's menstruation and childbirth rituals. Okay, so we're going to start the second paragraph down. Worldwide, much of women's sacred blood rites and magical instruments have been simply stolen by patriarchy, or if not, co-opted and repressed. Male initiation rites can express an envy and an awe of women as men cut or wound their penises in imitation of bleeding vaginas. These rites reenact birth and menstruation, but they also symbolize a violent separation from women, earth, and the maternal, more a guilty theft than a true participation in. As Margaret Mead and others have shown, the more warlike and authoritarian a society is, the stronger its menstrual taboos. In such societies, a paranoid emphasis is placed on women's corrupting and debilitating influence and men's need to overpower, dominate, and devalue her. Male training in aggression is linked with taboos for both men and boys against any knowledge of or contact with women's natural functions. It would seem that when there is no acknowledgement of women's bleeding, there is instead a male acting out of ritual and violent bloodshed in war. Listen. Damn. So I guess I'm out here by myself. I guess I bored y'all in the first hour. Okay. I just saw a comedian yesterday. I posted him on my timeline. So let me tell you how timely this reading is. Because I posted this comedian. He was like cynical. He was like dry humor. He was funny, but he was like dry humor. And one of the things that he talked about in this dry humor was like the power of women, and how one of the things that always struck him about women is how mystical they are. About how greetings, Omatasli. How the thing that struck me about his skit was he was like, man, women, they are like magical creatures. They keep everything secret. He was like, damn. He was like, if men, he said if men had a menstrual cycle, y'all would know about it. He was like, we are so pathetic. He was like, you would know about it if we had to bleed every month. There would be blood everywhere. There would be blood on the streets. Like, we would want y'all to know about it, but y'all just keep it a secret. Like, even if you're in a relationship with a woman, you'll never know if it's her time of the month. Like, you'll just never know. They just keep this magical, mystical secret. He was like, if men had a period, there'd be quote, man pads, masculine pads on the sidewalks. You understand? And it was just interesting, this skit, especially as I read this today, about how males mimic and have always historically, even into the ancient times, mimicked what they saw as the magic of the two main blood rituals. What? The rituals of menstruation, the blood that comes from the blood that comes from no wound, menstrual blood, and the blood of childbirth, right? And how every ritual. Thank you so much, Omatasla, for that affirmation, that affirmation for me. Thank you so much. And how this shit is still pervasive everywhere in society, but it's so well hidden that we don't even recognize it when we see it. So here she says that because women have been conditioned and shamed out of our blood ritual processes, have been shamed from the blood that was seen as magical, the blood that comes from no wound, the magical, monthly, cyclical blood that comes from no wound, because we have been shamed so. And because the menstrual taboos are so pervasive throughout every culture in the world, she says that these secrets that we keep as women, listen, she said, as Margaret Mead has shown, and others have shown, the more warlike and authoritarian a society is, the stronger its menstrual taboo. In such societies, a paranoid emphasis is placed on women's corrupting and debilitating influence, and men's need to overpower, dominate, and devalue her. Male training in aggression is linked with taboos. Isn't that what we're talking about right now in Pure Lust? The damage that taboos have done to the human spirit? She says, male training in aggression is linked to taboos for both men and boys against any knowledge of or contact with women's natural functions. It would seem that when there is no acknowledgement of women's bleeding, there is instead a male acting out of ritual and violent bloodshed in war. Yo. Ooh. The need for magical blood in the life of human beings will be met either way. And since we have been conditioned, shamed, guilted into keeping the secret of magical blood as menstruation away and out of the sight of men and boys, when there is an absence or a lack of acknowledgement of women's bleeding, there is instead a male acting out of ritual and violent bloodshed in war. She goes on to say, this is the crux of what I wanted to get to before we go into this revelation. She goes on to say, warlike, aggressive male societies are in rivalry with y'all. Warlike, aggressive male societies are in rivalry with women over which one sheds the most sacred blood. War is men's response to women's ability to give birth and menstruate. All three are blood shedding rituals: war, menstruation, and birth. Women's blood rites give life, however, while men's bloody rituals give only death. To compensate for this, such authoritarian societies culturally repress and degrade women's blood functions while elevating murderous war as a holy act. The women's menstrual mysteries of inspiration become, in war god worshiping patriarchy, the mysteries of resisted knowledge, repression, and madness. Patriarchal societies are founded upon a crime. This crime is not the murder of the father, as Freud would have us believe. It is the rape and scorn of the mother, this unconscious horror that each girl child inherits. Unlike male castration anxiety, rape anxiety is all too often reinforced by the daily reality of the act and threat of rape. Listen. She says that males in a war god society, warlike, aggressive male societies are always and have been since their emergence in rivalry with women over which sex sheds the most sacred blood. Could this be why? I don't even want to get into that. But listen. So let's talk about it. Let's see what the revelation. Let's see what the book has to say about blood. Okay. Let's see what the book has to say about the blood. Since there are some still here with me. Okay. I've talked about this a lot. This will probably be its own segment. Yeah, let me just make a mental note of that. This I'll do a sermon on the blood. Because the Bible has a lot to say about the blood. There are like 157 references to the blood in the Bible. But there are some that I find interesting about this end time prophecy stuff. So we're going to turn to Revelations 16:4. Revelations 16:4. Okay, we're actually going to start with Hmm. Yeah, this is something we're gonna have to get into deep. Okay. But I wanted to talk to y'all about this. Let's see. There was something else. Hold on. Yeah, I might have to learn how these preachers organize their sermons, because it was a lot, and how they don't get sidetracked. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot that I want to get into. Let's see. Euphrates, Noah days, Jesus' return, peace in Israel. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into this chapter 16 of the book of Revelations. Chapter 16. And you know what? Let's see. You may have to change YouTube to see change to YouTube to see all the comments and our messages over there. I should be getting them here through my live stream, but apparently the messages are not coming through where I can see them here. Or the comments. I don't see why that's happening, because usually through live stream I can see all the comments, but I haven't gotten a comment in over an hour over here. Okay. So, I wanted to say, so when I read this book, when I read the Bible to you guys, I want you to, if you can, I know it is hard to, because this book has been propagated as the word of the war God, of the male God, of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You feel me? But I want you to, from now on, as we walk through this thing, I want you to, if you can, try to remember what Mama Zogbe had to say in the Sibyls, what Mama Zogbe had to say about the Bible, about the Torah, about the Quran, that this entire book, we know it, we say it all the time, that this is the greatest work of plagiarism in human history, right? But it's not just the greatest work of plagiarism, because we make it ambiguous, this work of plagiarism. What this book is also, like the Black Madonna, like the stone at Mecca, right? It is the hell hostage prophecy of the Black Sibyls of the ancient age, of the ancient time. And when she talked in the Sibyls about how the last prophecies by the Sibyls before Rome and before Greece and before these other empires turned against the Sibyls and started murdering them and calling them crazy, stole the prophecies of the last remaining Sibyls and then transformed them into, quote, the Sibylline prophecies, which eventually became the origins of the Bible, of the Torah, and later the Quran. So I want you to keep that in mind. And when I am always talking about how the mother is telling me, get your nose in this book, this is my shit, it's a corrupted, reversed, overturned, turned inside out version, but I still exist in it. Can you see? You understand? When I read to you, I want you to try to keep this in mind, in the front of your mind. Every time I read from the Bible, I want you to keep in mind that this is the mother's word, that God is the mother. You understand? And that the words held hostage up in here have been perverted and converted into a way and into a story that is meant to do what this book has been able to do, which is hold captive the human spirit for the last age. Okay? I want to say that before I read this next section. Chapter 16. And I'm just going to start at the beginning of chapter 16. We were supposed to be going to chapter 16, verse 3, but I'll start at the beginning. Then I heard a loud voice from the temple telling the 7 angels, go and pour out on the earth the 7 bowls of the wrath of God. So the first angel went and poured out his bowl on the earth, and harmful and painful sores came upon the people, and painful sores came upon the people who bore the mark of the beast and worshipped its image. The second angel poured out his bowl into the sea, and it became like the blood of a corpse, and everything living and every living thing died that was in the sea. The third angel poured out his bowl into the rivers and the springs of water, and they became blood. And I heard the angel in charge of the water say, "Just are you, O Holy One, who is and who was, for you have brought these judgments. For they have shed the blood of saints and prophets." For they have shed the blood of saints and prophets, and you have given them blood to drink that they deserve. Okay, let's go on. Let's see. Blood. 16. Okay. Okay. So let's go on now. I'm talking to y'all about the blood now, so just rock with me. Yeah, I just read to you about the origin. Listen, I just read to you about the origin of all blood rituals in patriarchy. Every single one. Historically, even the emergence of blood ritual. All blood ritual is fashioned by males in the reenacting of the sacred blood rituals of menstruation and childbirth. All of them. Circumcision, war bloodshed, so on and so forth. So the blood is significant, okay? There are several scriptures on the importance of blood that I wanted to talk to you about. There was one in particular. Where is that at? Blood. Everything. Rapture. Rebellion. 28:31. Psalm 58. Jesus returns. Damn, where is that one? Peace in Israel. Okay. All right. So we're going to go to Ezekiel 3:18. Let's see. Okay. All right. That's so weird. There were so many, for whatever reason, so many of these comments were not coming through for a while. Okay, it seems like men aren't eligible to be priests because they don't have any blood to offer. Ooh, come on. Whoever you are, not again. Come on. Thank you, everybody. Okay, I don't know what was going on, why these comments were not coming through. Let's see, sometimes the live chat looks empty and you have to click it, come back again. Okay, Erica, I'm flipping all over, so I'll tell you every time. Yes. Thank you, everybody. Okay. Yes, I see everybody now. I was like, damn, am I in this joint by myself? Did I bore y'all or something? Like, what the hell is going on? Okay. All right. So now we're going to go to, oh, shit. Now we're going to go to, I'm going to deviate from the thing for a minute and read this to you too. So I just see shit everywhere. Thank you, Grace. I appreciate you. Let's see. So there is a movie. This is going to seem like a digression, but it is not. Okay, so there is a movie. What was the name of this movie? I think it was a Disney movie, and it was about, I don't know if there are any men in the chat yet. My homeboy who is on the committee I don't see him. I do see one brother, Lawrence Lee. I don't see too many men. But anyway, there's a movie. Y'all, if you don't have kids, you probably won't know what the hell I'm talking about. But it was a dinosaur movie, kind of like whatever. Anyway, it was a dinosaur movie. This little baby dinosaur gets lost and ends up befriending a little cave baby, and they go on this grand mission, together, right? The little cave baby and the little dinosaur are like trying to get the baby home. He's trying to find his home because he saw his father die, and then he's trying to make his way back home as a baby lost in the wilderness, right? And there is a scene, and I just remembered it because I wrote it as a scene in a dinosaur movie, y'all. I'm telling you, a scene in a dinosaur movie I wrote in my Bible right here a long time ago, right there. A scene in a dinosaur kids movie, right? And in this scene, the baby and the dinosaur baby, they think they're close to where they try to get to, and all of a sudden these pterodactyls, the flying dinosaurs, the pterodactyl, the good dinosaur. Look at you, okay? The good dinosaur. So the pterodactyl. Okay, more y'all thought. I thought more of y'all than I thought knew the movie. Okay, so the pterodactyls are flying over after this radical storm, right? Has almost drowned the little cave baby, and the little dinosaur baby had to overcome his fear of the water after seeing his daddy die in the water to save the little cave baby because these pterodactyls were trying to eat the baby. What did the pterodactyls keep saying? I wrote it as a quote in my Bible. The pterodactyls, as circling overhead, they were so joyous. Because the pterodactyls kept saying, the storm provides. The storm provides. The storm provides. I was like, oh my God. Yo. Okay. The storm provides. They kept chanting this over and over and over again. And they actually looked like they were in a trance. You remember, they looked like they were almost drunk. The storm provides. The storm provides. The storm provides. Right? I wrote this in my Bible. I'm getting goosebumps. On my Bible, that little quote, the storm provides, on this chapter. So I was like, okay, maybe I need to read this out loud today. I'm going to deviate from the blood stuff for a quick to see why I wrote this down on chapter 17. Revelations chapter 17. Start with verse 1. Then one of the seven angels who had the seven bowls came and said to me, come, I will show you the judgment of the great prostitute who is seated on many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed sexual immorality, and with the wine of whose sexual immorality the dwellers on earth have become drunk. And he carried me away in the spirit into a wilderness, and I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast that was full of blasphemous names, and it had 7 heads and 10 horns. It had 7 heads and 10 horns. The woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet. Y'all, and adorned with gold and jewels and pearls. Adorned with gold and jewels and pearls, holding in her hand a golden cup full of the abominations and the impurities of her sexual immorality. And on her forehead was written a name of mystery, Babylon the Great. Babylon the Great, mother of prostitutes and the earth's abominations. I saw the woman drunk with the blood of saints, the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. When I saw her, I marveled greatly. But the angel said to me, "Why do you marvel? I will tell you the mystery of the woman and the beast with the 7 heads and the 10 horns that carries her. The beast that you saw was and is not, and is about to rise from the bottomless pit and go to destruction. And the dwellers on earth whose names have not been written in the book of life from the foundation of the world will marvel to see the beast, because it was and is not and is to come. This calls for a mind with wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman is seated. They are also 7 kings, of 5 of whom have fallen. One is, the other has not yet come, and he does not come. He must remain only a little while. As for the beast that was and is not, it is an eighth. But belongs to the 7, and it goes to destruction. The 10 horns that you saw are the 10 kings who have not yet received royal power, but they are to receive authority as kings for 1 hour together with the beast. These are of one mind. They hand over their power and authority to the beast. They will make war on the Lamb, and the Lamb will conquer them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and he is called, and with him are called and chosen and faithful. The angel said to me, the waters that you saw where the prostitute is seated are peoples and multitudes and nations and languages. And the 10 horns that you saw, they are the beast, and they and the beast will hate the prostitute. They will make her desolate and naked and devour her flesh and burn her up with fire. For God has put into their hearts to carry out his purpose by being of one mind and handing over their royal power to the beast until the words of God are fulfilled. And the woman that you saw is the great city that has dominion over the kings of the earth. Now, I want to tell y'all something. Okay, I want to tell y'all something. Oh, child, I want to tell y'all something today. I need someone to do me a favor while I'm talking. I need you to Google I might even have it already written. Let's see if I already had it written. I don't. Okay, so I need someone to take it upon themselves to Google the etymology of the word demon, not the definition, the etymology of the word demon, The etymology of the word abomination, because we're about to get into this. The etymology of the word abomination let's see, 16, 17. Okay. All right, and we're going to go into chapter 18. But while I'm doing that, I want you to Google those. Okay, good. Thank you so much. You are dreaming right now. So you are dreaming right now says, so does it give like an origin? Okay, great. All right, good. Demon means genius. Its origin is Greek and English, meaning deity or genius. Oh shoot! I need to see that, Chloe Dior. I need to see that. Okay. Okay, Letitia says, the 7 cervical vertebrae and the 10 cranial nerves, the dragon spine, mouth is here, which is the medulla oblongata. Once she has risen, there will be a revolution or an enlightenment for the being. I've heard this before, and I didn't get that deep into it, but yes, we do need to dig deep into it. But I wanted to talk about the imagery being put forward here, because there is a reason that I wrote that the storm provides on this particular scripture, detailing the coming and features of the great whore, or the whore of Babylon. Okay. But I'm taking notes as I'm teaching. Okay. Because y'all gonna end up being my my research committee. I'm not gonna be doing this research by myself all the time no more. Damn it. It's taking up the majority of my life. Okay. All right. So going on to the next chapter, which is chapter 18. Okay, and then somebody do the etymological breakdown of abomination for me. And then I think there was another one. Do also Google the etymology for abomination. Google the etymology for the word prostitute. I mean, we know it because we've read it a lot in the Encyclopedia of Myths and Secrets, but do it anyway. Okay. Now, chapter 18. After I saw that, after this, I saw another angel coming down. Oh, Google the etymology for the word angel too. What about Doja Cat, Shamar? Okay, thank you, Erica. So I'm gonna put this on the screen so everybody can see it. This is for the word abomination. So it says abomination, abominable thing or act, late 14th century, feeling of disgust, hatred, or loathing. Abomination, horror, repugnance, shun as an ill omen, off, away from, omen, meaning stem of omen. You talking about the paint the town red. Paint the town red. Oh. I keep hearing about it. I haven't seen it yet. I guess I need to do it today since it's come up again. Okay, etymologically, demon means divider or allotter. From Homer onward, it is used mainly in the sense of performer of more or less unexpected, intrusive events in human life. Thank you, Sharita. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, so I'm gonna continue reading, and then we gonna discuss. Let's see. Damn, it's already 1 o'clock. After this, I saw an angel coming down from heaven. Google the etymology of the word angel. I saw an angel coming down from heaven, having great authority, and the earth was made bright with his glory. And he called out with a mighty voice, "Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great. She has become a dwelling place for demons and a haunt for every unclean spirit, a haunt for every unclean bird, and a haunt for every unclean, detestable beast. For all nations have drunk the wine of the passion of her sexual immorality, and the kings of the earth have committed immorality with her, and the merchants of the earth have grown rich from the power of her luxurious living." Then I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, lest you take part in her sins, lest you share in her plagues. For her sins are heaped as high as heaven, and God has remembered her iniquities. Pay her back as she herself has paid back others, and repay her double for her deeds. Mix a double portion for her in the cup she mixed. As she glorified herself and lived in luxury, so gave her a like measure of torment and mourning. Since in her heart she says, 'I sit as a queen, I am no widow, I am mourning, and mourning I shall never see.' For this reason, her plagues will come in a single day, death and mourning and famine, and she will be burned up with fire, for mighty is the Lord God who has judged her. And the kings of the earth and who committed sexual immorality and lived in luxury with her will weep and wail over her when they see the smoke of her burning. They will stand off from afar in fear of her and torment. Alas, alas, you great city, you mighty city Babylon, for in a single hour your judgment has come. And the merchants of the earth weep and mourn her." Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. All right. Let's see. Okay. All right. Let's see. Y'all, let's see. Okay, so yes, okay. All right. Old English, ultimately via ecclesiastical Latin from Greek Anglo's messenger, angels, superseded in Middle English by forms of Old French, anglais. Okay. Angel from Greek angelos, the messenger, envoy, one that announces, the divine messenger, which is possibly related to a mounted courier. Prostitute, exposed publicly, offered for sale before or set up place. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, we have to get into this. And it's already 1 o'clock. Okay, so I've talked about this before. I think this is the last thing I'm going to say about it. Hold on. Cosmic Mother Chapter 3. What about the Cosmic Mother Chapter 3? Yellow Rose. Tell me specifically. What page? What is it we looking to for the Great Cosmic Mother so I can get there? Mm, All right. Yeah. Okay. So, let's see. This, like the Missionary Baptist Church I used to in the here for hours, you in there for hours, but didn't learn shit. Yellow Rose, tell me why you wanted us to go to chapter 3 in the Great Cosmic Mother. I'm not opposed. I'm just asking. Let's see. Okay, so let's go back to the blood, because this revelation thing we gonna have to get into this on another day. But I do want to say a couple things about the blood that I want to leave you with. Oh, you know what? Let me say a couple of other things too. So some of the big buzzwords that you will see over the next year in particular, as they're trying to terrorize the hell out of you about the end of time and the end of days, you'll hear words like rapture. Anybody grown up in the church, in the Protestant church, you know about the rapture of the church, which is supposed to, happen right before Jesus comes. When Jesus comes back from the church is the rapture, right? Armageddon, Revelation, apocalypse, tribulation, and altar. Okay, so these are some big words that you'll hear over the next, especially coming months, and the next year leading up to this election in November, because this election in November happens just 2 weeks prior to this big event that I've been talking to you guys about for 3 years now, on November 19th of 2024. November 19th of 2024 is the final rounding out of Pluto's transition out of Capricorn into Aquarius. Okay, Pluto's official rounding out and its transition out of Capricorn, which started in the year which started election month 2008, all the way till now, transitioning out of Capricorn into Aquarius, finishes on November 19th, another election month, November 19th of 2024, just 2 weeks after the next presidential election. And Pluto will stay in Aquarius until the year 2044. Okay. Now, preachers are preaching that the 7-year tribulation will begin in 2025. Of course, incidentally or coincidentally, aligning itself with another major astrological event. We'll talk about that later. But these are some words that you will hear in the coming year a lot from the evangelical right, from Catholicism, and the like. Okay. Maybe I should do this again, just in case. Let's play with the comments. Okay. So rapture, you'll hear that a lot. There are all kinds of movies, all kinds of movies about the rapture of church, how Jesus is supposed to take everybody up in the blinking of an eye, and people will just disappear out their clothes and shit. This is a horror story that was taught to us. Since I was very, very little. This horror story about how, this magnanimous number of people all over the place of the planet who believe in the Lord Jesus Christ are going to just disappear in the blink of an eye, and how those in power will convince us that it's a grand alien abduction. This is what I grew up on. Hearing that in the end of days, we'll start seeing a lot more people in power talking about aliens and extraterrestrials and alien abductions. Quote, getting us acclimated to the idea that when the rapture happens, they're going to collectively agree around the world that it was a mass alien abduction that abducted all the people who were right with the Lord, and this is going to set off the 7-year tribulation. This conditioning, both ways, this conditioning, it's not coincidental that for the first time the government is admitting, that they have proof of extraterrestrials and aliens and all of that shit. And so why? Because again, the state is not separate from the church. Contrary to what you believe, the state is not separate from the church. That's why they cool with Israel committing genocide. They say it's going to set off the rapture. Absolutely. Right? Even Jehovah's Witnesses recently shifted their message from good news to judgment. They feel the end is near. True. Like I said, everybody's going to get on this bandwagon because fear is the elixir of war. Fear is the elixir of war. Yo, that is what war thrives on most. Because when we are afraid, again, there is shit that we will accept that in our rational mind we would never accept. Wars we will accept in the face of fear. Murder, genocide, we will accept through the fear of biblical prophecy and Jesus coming back. And I don't want to miss out on my free trip to heaven with the Lord and shit. So this mythology will fuel good, regular, everyday humans just trying to survive amidst chaos to be on board with the most gruesome crimes ever perpetrated in history. And I ain't just talking about in the Middle East. I'm talking about on every square inch of the planet. Do you understand? So these words that we will hear a lot over the next period. And I want you to be mindful because this horror story written, let me say, plagiarized and turned inside out as the revelation. If we can see the mother in here, right? If we can see the mother in here every time we read it, instead of backsliding into our knee-jerk, belief in Christianity and end time and prophecy, and there is no such thing as male prophecy. I want to tell you, y'all gonna be mad about that. Unless they are in league with the mother, no male can prophesy. Y'all didn't heard, and I made plain what the fuck I meant. If a male is not in league with the mother, is not worshiping the mother, is not embedded in worship of the mother, he cannot prophesy. So what does this mean then? What does this mean? You understand? If a male can't prophesy and this whole goddamn book, except one chapter, was supposedly written by men, this whole book, you feel me? This is not prophecy. I'm listening to hours and hours and hours of preachers and commentators talking about the evidence of the fulfillment of end time prophecy. And you can't ignore it. Like, how did they know about Gaza way back then? Because Gaza is right here in the Bible. How did they know about Hamas way back then? Because it's right here in the Bible in the Old Testament. How Hamas would run the world and shit. What do you mean? How would you know? How did they know? Child, we are talking about a group of individuals. Hebrews, Romans and Greeks as Christianity, Arabs as Muslims, the three pillars of the Abrahamic religious trident, if you will, stealing the prophecies of the mothers, stealing the prophecies of the sibyls. We just read it. We just read it in the sibyls over the summer, where she gave them, they listen, word by word description of the fall of the Roman Empire, of the fall of the patriarchy. They did that. And then what these dudes did was rewrite everything because they didn't have a leg to stand on. They could not compete with the prophecies of the sibyls. Nobody was giving them no smoke. And so they just stole their shit, killed all the prophets, picked all the prophets who were women, killed all the prophets, stole and revised and say, look at look at how wonderful the shit is that we didn't intuit it from the Lord, our God. You understand? So I want you to be mindful every time I read this book that I recognize it as the mother calling on us through this shit to deconstruct, to rearrange. So the rapture, what does rapture mean when they talk about the rapture of the church? So I Googled the etymology of the word rapture. The mother is the one who makes spirit flesh. You can bring forth any prophecy without it becoming flesh through a woman giving birth to it. So what does the etymology of the word rapture mean from 1600, from the year 1600? And listen, this is they shit. This they words. An act of carrying off as prey or plunder. Y'all ain't hearing. What does the rapture mean? An act of carrying off as prey. They specifically says as prey or plunder. Seizure, rape, kidnapping, abduction, snatching away. Later, it came to mean spiritual ecstasy, a state of mental transport and exaltation, still meaning the violent taking away. That's what rapture means, the violent taking away. Now, what does that remind you of? Huh? The carrying off as prey or plunder, the seizure, rape, kidnapping, abduction, and snatching away. The simultaneous, listen, because y'all ain't hearing the word right now, the simultaneous spiritual ecstasy and state of mental transport and exaltation, the violent taking away. What is that? What is that they talk about when they talk about the rapture? This is what rapture means. It is the only etymology anywhere. There's no etymology that contradicts this. What does the rapture mean? Not only you are dreaming right now, not only does it not sound loving and peaceful, but it sounds quite reminiscent. It sounds like something that has already happened. Somebody Google the etymology of the word church for me. Do that for me right now. Google the etymology of the word church right now and post that up for me. Because this sounds eerily reminiscent. Thank you. You are dreaming right now. The violent taking away. The scripture says, hold on, let's go on and get into it. If y'all about it, I'm about it. We'll just go ahead and get up into it. Let's go to 1 Thessalonians 4:17. The stuff that males do every damn day. Let's see. Let's go on over here to 1 Thessalonians. 1 Thessalonians. Okay. We on 1 Thessalonians 4:17. This is all about the rapture. Okay. 1 Thessalonians 4:17 says, church, Old English, Cireceyrice, related to Dutch Kirk and German Kirche or Kirch, based on medieval Greek Kurikon, the Greek Kuriakon or Doma, house or Lord's house, from Kuros, master or Lord, church. Okay. All right. So 4:17. Is that what it was? Yeah, 4:17. 1 Thessalonians 4:17. Chapter 4, verse 17. Okay, let's go. Okay. Okay. So the rapture is what we are in and have been in, but it is getting worse, bigger, violent, and raping. Sounds like Master's house. Circa is a goddess. Yes. Okay. So we're going to go actually back to 1 Thessalonians 4:15 and read down through 17. Okay. It says, for since, oh no, we're going to go to 15. For this we declare to you by a word from the Lord, that we who are alive, now this is about the rapture, okay? I'm still on the rapture. That we who are alive, who are left until the coming of the Lord, will not precede those who have fallen asleep. For the Lord himself will descend from heaven with a cry of command, with the voice of an archangel, and with the sound of a trumpet of God. And the dead in Christ will rise first. Then we who are alive, who are left, will be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. And so we will always be with the Lord. So we're going to go on. Okay. Therefore, encourage one another with these words. Now, concerning the times and the seasons, brothers, you have no need to have anything written to you, for you yourselves are fully aware that the day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night. While people are saying there is peace and security, then sudden destruction will come upon them as labor pains come upon a pregnant woman, and they will not escape. But you are not in darkness, brothers, for that day to no surprise, for that day to surprise you like a thief. For you are all the children of light, children of the day. We are not of the night or of the darkness. So then let us not sleep as others do. Let us keep awake and be sober. For those who sleep at night, and those who get drunk are drunk at night. But since we belong to the day, let us be sober, having put on the breastplate of faith and love, and for a helmet of hope of salvation. For God has not destined us for wrath, but to obtain salvation through the Lord Jesus Christ, who died for us. Blah 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 blah. Therefore, encourage one another and build one another up, just as you are doing. Whatever. Okay. Then it says, okay, yeah, that was it. 5:1-8. Okay, yeah. All right. So that's one thing on rapture. All right. Then we're going to go to Romans 8:18. I'm getting to something on this discussion about the rapture and this etymology I just read to you. So Romans 8:1076. Romans 8:18. Romans 8:18. For I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worth comparing with the glory that is to be revealed to us. For the creation waits with eager longing for the revealing of the sons of God. For the creation was subjected to futility, not willingly, but because of him who subjected it, in hope that that the creation of himself would be set free from the bondage to corruption and obtain the freedom of the glory of the children of God. Okay, whatever. All right, so let's revisit this etymology. Puppet master, spiritual, controlling them, blah, 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 blah. Okay, Google says the concept of the rapture is relatively new. Yeah, I read that. Yeah, like 1821 or something like that. Okay, so, but the word rapture, the concept of the rapture is new, but the word rapture has its origin in the 1600s. That's why the meaning that is obviously directly opposing the meaning of what the rapture is being told to us, that came along as a concept later. It reminded me of what Eve was experiencing in the show Power. Yes, the power. Okay, so the rapture, the act of carrying off as prey or plunder. the seizure, rape, and kidnapping, abduction, and snatching away. Later, spiritual ecstasy, state of mental transport, and exaltation, the violent taking away. Listen, this is, so how does it have this simultaneous meaning? Spiritual ecstasy and state of mental transport and exaltation, partnered with the violent taking away, raping, seizing, kidnapping. Because why we talked about this just a couple of weeks ago when I said that America is a godhead. Didn't I say that? And I likened America and the birth of America as the seeding, white people seeding this new territory through blood, through violent rituals of blood and water. Remember I said that? And this is what gave rise to America as a godhead. So while white people were experiencing all this brigandage and chaos and torment and torture and shit under the church in Europe, and they said the reason we came over here was we was looking for religious freedom. You understand? And religious freedom meant freedom from gallows and freedom from burnings and freedom from drownings and freedom from torture. That's what they said when they meant we came over here looking for religious freedom. You feel me? And so while they are excited, spiritual ecstasy in a state of mental transport and exaltation. So while they excited about they visit to the new world, they coming to the new world, escaping the horrors of Europe, they are excited. This is a celebration that's happening as they come through by the thousands to a land unknown. But still, anything is better than what we got going on over here in Europe. Anything is better. We going into the great abyss. We don't know what's on the other side of the ocean. We just now started believing that the world was round. So we going out to portions of the ocean where you cannot even see till you roll up on some shit. You feel me? But anything, even the great radical unknown, is better than what we got going on up over here in Europe. They did not fear the unknown. Women, children, beggars, criminals, they did not fear the unknown. They jumped both feet first into what they knew was going to be a better life for them, regardless. Anything is better than what has been happening to us in Europe. And at the same time that they are in jubilation, what? Spiritual ecstasy, a state of mental transport and exaltation. This was their rapture. White people, they rapture was the bright new age of European colonialism. What did they call it? The age of exploration. This was their salvation. America was. White people, Europeans. This was their salvation. Their collective scooping up to go to a land unknown, a land bountiful in ways they could not imagine, welcomed and taught, a land where wealth came easily because here it was vast. This was their rapture, their version of biblical rapture, going into what? Because the scripture say we're going to be caught up in the rapture. You understand? We're going to go to the land of milk and honey. You feel me? Because whatever we find over here, even as we've heard horror stories about the people that are already there, whatever they got going on over there is better than this shit right here. And they get over here and start sending back stories about the abundance and the wealth, especially in Central and South America. Especially in Central and South America. The cities made of gold, the cities that seem to float on top of lakes. They were like, this shit is amazing. This is like heaven. This is like what we imagine heaven to look like. Everybody is clean. Their teeth are amazing. This is what they wrote. This shit is unbelievable. There are whole cities made of gold. Isn't that what the monks said when they was reporting back to Europe? These people are unbelievable. They done created whole cities that look like they just float on top of goddamn lakes and shit. Pyramids, like I've never seen. Egalitarian societies where there's no oppression and there's no murder and shit. So for them, this was the rapture. This was the dawn of a whole new, abundant age of wealth beyond imagining for even the previously poorest of Europe. And simultaneously, this rapture for them became a simultaneous rapture for us. The aspect of rapture that is the act of carrying off as prey or plunder. The rapture that meant for indigenous people the seizure of, rape of, kidnapping of, transferring of, abduction of, snatching away of. That's what it meant for them. Their ecstasy, their hope, their transport and exaltation required in their mind the suffering of someone else. You understand? So the simultaneous, almost duplicitous meaning of rapture, the spiritual ecstasy and state of mental transport and exaltation. They was cheering when they saw the new world. The new world. Is the new world order some shit that's happening in the future? The new world order is some shit that we have all been forced to exist in since white people started exploring the world. That's the new world. What do they call it? They don't even hide it. It's right there in plain sight. When white people came during the age of exploration, they came to what? The new world. The new world. We've been living in the new world. We've been living in the new world order. Since white folks got here to the new world, to the Western Hemisphere. We've been living in it. You understand? And so now, while they are in a state of spiritual ecstasy, when they come upon this new land and they see fruit and shit just falling off the trees, they can eat for free, shit just falling off the trees. Abundance everywhere. They can heal their sores and shit just by eating tree bark and shit. The natives taught them how to do that. Yeah, how to heal people and prevent people from getting scurvy. The natives taught them how to do that. You understand? So here, everything is just abundant and flowing and giving, and the earth just gives and gives and gives. And that simultaneous ecstasy and exaltation that they experienced in the rescuing of themselves from the monstrosity of Europe under the domination not only of the Roman Catholic Church, but the rising Protestant Empire. They both were equally diabolical. And at the same time that their rapture was happening, our rapture was happening, which was the act of carrying off as prey or plunder, the seizure, the rape, the kidnapping, the abduction, the snatching away, the violent taking away of wealth, of life, of liberty, of sovereignty, of peace, of happiness, the violent taking away of tradition, of ancestry, the violent taking away of memory, of life expectancy. That's the rapture. The rapture, in my estimation, is not a future occurring event that these good white Christians are hoping to get caught the fuck up in. Because what they are saying is we're looking for absolution. We are always looking for absolution because we know we done did dirt. And if we ain't did dirt directly, we are still the chronic beneficiaries of dirt. You feel me? And so we looking for absolution. We looking for Jesus to come and get us and take us away from this shit that we have created. You understand? What's the next word? Revelation. Okay. Revelation. To reveal, to make clear, to be to make seen the previously unseen. What does apocalypse mean? To uncover, to reveal, to disclose what is hidden. It also means insight, vision, and hallucination. Tribulation means affliction, oppression, suffering, distress. But its origin is from the word to press, to thresh out grain, like to press grain, to create immense pressure, right? These are the words that y'all are going to be hearing over the next year in mass. And whenever you hear some preacher, especially some Negro preacher, to me, who are the most diabolical, still perpetrating this shit, talking about the revelation and how you got to get ready for the Lord to come back. The first time Jesus came to the Western Hemisphere, to the New World, he reaped holy hell. on the entire population of the Western Hemisphere, of Africa, and of Asia. That's what Jesus did. Jesus did that. Jesus did that. It wasn't Arabs that did that. It wasn't even Jews that did that. Well, there was some. It was good old-fashioned Jesus and his minions on the good ship Mary and the good ship Jesus and the good ship so-and-so and so-and-so, named by all your saints, carrying away, violently carrying away, violently kidnapping, violently kidnapping, snatching away God's people in Africa, kidnapping, raping, and seizing the lands from God's people in the Western Hemisphere, North and South America, violently kidnapping, killing God's people in Asia. You understand? I guess I'm gonna be done. I want to go on, but I guess I'll be done. But the Revelations. Oh, and when I told y'all the other day that I grew up in fundamentalist church institutions, and they all preach that the whore of Babylon is the Roman Catholic Church, and they point to all of these little things that are supposed to be indicative that the Roman Catholic Church is the whore of Babylon, for which the New Testament, the Revelations, is referring. But I want to say to you that the whore of Babylon is who she always has been. The whore of Babylon is the mother. Now, Letitia talked about the seven cervical vertebrae and the 10 cranial nerves, the dragon, the spine, but as within, so without, as below, so above, right? This is the, in my estimation, when I read the Revelations and I read about the whore of Babylon, I read about the mother. And she always is a representative, just like Barbara Moore said in the reading from today, that she is the dragon, that she is always the dragon, and that in every culture, what did they say? In every culture, in every culture, where does she say that at? In every culture, the mother what did I say? In every culture, the mother is laid waste to the dragon. The dragon is always the mother, and she is always laid waste to by her son. What is the mother? She is represented as what? The 7 faces of the moon. The 7 heads. The 7 heads in this shit right here. Hold on. Where it says, the whore who sat upon a beast that had 7 heads and 10 horns. The 7 heads is the 7 faces of the mother. The 10 horns. Who are the 10 horns? What are the 10 horns? The horns upon. Listen. How do you get 10 horns? Because usually horns come in sets of 2, right? How do you get 10 horns? You get, this might be a stretch, but how do you get 10 horns? You need 5 heads. What animal is most represented as horned animals in the Bible, especially as bad animals? It's the bull. Okay? It's the bull. The bull. If you had a bull, this beast that she sits upon, right? That has 5 heads. Okay? Who is the bull? The bull of heaven. Whose son is the bull of heaven? Venus, Ishtar, Ashtaroth, Isis, Oshun. Yes. Yeah. So every time I read this, she who is draped in garbs of purple and scarlet. That's why I wrote, the storm always provides. Who is that? This is Oya. This is Oya. Babylon the Great, mother of prostitutes and all of earth's abominations. There was another scripture when we talked in Pure Lust the other day about how we always see, how Jesus stands against principalities. What is it? Powers and principalities. And we always saw that as evil, right? And the powers and principalities is always a reference to the elemental power of women. Yeah, so we reading this here, and it's talking about, and I always grew up believing that the whore of Babylon, who is Ishtar, the mother of heaven, the queen of heaven, the whore of Babylon, since ancient times, has always been Ishtar, the queen of heaven, the mother of us all. Whatever her name is in whatever culture we ascribe to, it doesn't matter. She is the same. She has many faces that she presents to the many in the different cultural references that they can receive. That's all. And so, thank you, Letitia. So we are still talking about the revelation. Why does the Bible end with the revelation? I mean, biblical history still kept on, but the Bible hasn't expanded. Does God not talk to his prophets anymore? Are there no more prophets after Paul? I mean, was he the last of the real, quote, prophets? Why the book stopped there? Why it didn't just continue to go on? Especially now that we're in this period where it's supposedly God's chosen people, or the center of world conflict right now. So I'm gonna tell you, my position is one: there are no chosen people. There are no chosen people. You understand? Oh yeah, he mute now. He just ain't got shit else to say to me. Okay. Yeah. So there are no chosen people. So that in and of itself mutes any discussion that anybody would have to attempt to justify what the fuck is happening in the Middle East and anywhere else on earth. There are no chosen people. So even if you out there who know who you are be trying to blackify the concept of chosen people, Hebrew Israelites and the like, you understand? Who be trying to blackify the significant, who be going into these long debates about who the real Israelites are, about who the real Hebrews are, and it still centers around patriarchal society, patriarchal mythological history that completely erases the presence of the mother in every culture on earth. You are wrong too. Too many black people out here trying to blackify patriarchal bullshit, patriarchal madness, trying to blackify it. Women too. Just heard this black woman from a black, quote, Israeli in Israel saying, when you talk about how you're anti-Zionism, you're erasing a whole people. There are black Zionists. And you would boast this. How my ancient ancestors came from Ethiopia to this national homeland of ours in the 1800s. A black woman with a big ass afro. But I saw it coming. I knew it was going to come. Because you cannot have the face of modern Zionism be all white people and attempt to win people to the legitimacy of white people in the middle of the goddamn desert, literally driving people off their shit. So it was just a matter of time before you started getting colored folk, Hebrew Israelites. What's the other one? What's the other ones? The Hebrew Israelites and the what's them other ones? You understand? Parroting straight up white nationalist, old school Christian fundamentalist patriarchal bullshit to justify oppression. So now you got color folks, and she had to have an afro. You feel me? She had to have an afro. She had to have an afro. Talking about there are black Israelis. There are black and brown Israelis. Child, can I roll my eyes hard enough at this madness? And the harder they push, the more obscenely absurd all of this shit. Let's see. I hate that my mom is into the Hebrew Israelite crap. I'm trying to save her, but she won't listen. Baby, you got what the old people in the church say, baby, you just got to give it to God. You just got to give it to God. I'm talking about, let's see who said that. Shanice, I ain't trying to make light of it, baby, because I feel you. Every time my mama pull out the scripture and start reciting scripture, I'm just like, mother, just come through. Just come through and reveal yourself to my mama. Mother, just come through and reveal yourself as you have me to my mama when she in these books, when she in the scripture. You feel me? So baby, you just got to give it up to Goddess. And when I say God, I always mean her. When I say God, I always mean she. When I say God, I always mean her. Okay? 21 Keys or whatever his name is. I don't know. Oh yeah, the Moors. Okay, yeah, all them weirdos. Yeah, there's no need for chosen people if we all are one and the same. And what I'm saying, Shauna Michelle, is I'm saying there are no chosen people because we are all chosen people. I don't think I've seen you on my lives yet, so you don't know what my position is. As soon as your mama said yes to your existence, bitch, you was chosen. As soon as your mother said, yes, I agree to have this human, you were chosen. That moment. You understand? That moment. We are all chosen. We are all chosen. We are all chosen. We are all chosen. So that's my position. That's my position. Thank you. Yes, Nura Allah, that part. So we are all chosen. So what we have to do is get in this book in a way that we are seeing through the imposed doctrine on our consciousness. First, we will start. Yeah, that's the problem, Letitia. Like I didn't used to, but I fuck with Bobby Hemmett. I've been watching a lot of his shit lately, but yes. But again, with all these dudes, you know, they all are afflicted, child. All we can do as women is hope to retrieve from them what freed up space has allowed them to learn that we didn't otherwise have access to then, and say, okay, well, we will take from what this dude is saying what we can use for our own articulation. You feel me? Right? But do not exalt and do not prop up, because every last one of them, yeah, he honors the mother, Nura Allah, but he is still a patriarch. And I've seen too much evidence of it too many times. So yeah, he'll talk about the mother and he'll talk about the black goddess. A lot of these niggas do talk about the black woman as God, talk about the black mother. The black mother was the first one on the earth, and still their behavior in their treatment of women right in their cipher is fucked. So what you say, because I'm telling you, they use that line, they use that shit to woo women. Oh, you know, peace queen, peace goddess, you know, I believe that the black woman is God. They'll be the same niggas talking about how they deserve 3, 4, 5 wives, because you know mothers was the ones that created polygamy in the first place. You understand? It is new lingo that these dudes, not even new, old ass lingo that these dudes use to slay women. That's all. That's all. Whether it's political jargon or lingo, oh, you know, I believe in a free and independent Africa. You know, I love Africa and African people, and I just want to see us sovereign. Meanwhile, their behavior inside these organizations is repugnant towards women, towards their women revolutionary counterparts. Repugnant. I have found myself saying many times that there are street boys selling weed on the corner that's got more principle and integrity than a lot of these niggas inside the movement. And I done met them young Africans. I done spent 10 years doing young block boys' hair. Little brothers slinging dime bags on the corner, don't want to go to the salon, so they come to my house, and then I'm gonna conduct political education with them. I got your attention for 2 hours, but you got to learn something. And these boys talk about their life and how they treat their mama, and even though them and their baby mama ain't together, they still give their baby mama this amount of money every month to make sure her and the baby's good. I still pay my mama bills, all that shit. You understand? So no, I give enough props to males who have some information, black male historians, but I recognize their flaws, and they are all flawed, every single solitary one. What do I always tell y'all? Take what you need and leave the rest back where it ain't got nothing to do with you. You understand? That's all. We women need to become the new historians. We women need to be the ones articulating the rise of the mother, the rebecoming of the mother. Who is the mother? Who is the mother? Can I ask y'all that? Who is the mother? Who y'all think the mother is? This mother that we are calling on her return to the earth to save the earth. Huh? Who is the mother? Who is she? Who is she? What she look like? Where she come from? Thank you so much. Yes, it's us. Yes, it's us. This mythological rapture of the church, like Jesus gonna come and make everything all right, is absolution. We ain't about absolution. We ain't about absolution. I'm not about absolution. Now, y'all are in here and participating in the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence weekly service. So at some level, you have to be at least moderately on board with what I'm talking about. And what I am talking about, when I say who is she is we. We are she. Remember, I'm always talking to you about the little study, the mommy and I are one study, the psychological study done in the 60s, referenced in The Great Cosmic Mother. How people were made well just by seeing. They didn't even see it with their eyes. They saw it with their subconscious mind. Just seeing the image, mommy and I, the words in black and white. Mommy and I are one. Mommy and I are one. Mommy and I are one. For 6 weeks. Every movie they watch, mommy and I are one, just woven into the shit. They can't even see it. And how it permanently, positively impact and transformed their life when they began to remember in their subconscious mind, in their reptilian mind, that we are not apart from her. We are her. She is us. We are not apart from her. You understand? Schizophrenics. This is the book. This $256 damn book that is a compilation of the research done. The Search for Oneness was the name of the study in 1963. The Search for Oneness. What is it that makes people ill? This is what these psychologists said. We hypothesize that what makes people ill, what makes everyone ill in every manifestation of illness. This is in this book. This is a psychological research study, peer-reviewed journal, article, research study in 1963, The Search for Oneness. What makes everybody sick? And they ventured into every sickness, schizophrenia, addictions of every kind, substance and behavioral addictions. What was the conclusion? Using many different, subliminal messages. The only one that had a permanent, because they followed these people, they did the study for 6 weeks, and then followed these people for 25 years. The only permanently positive phrase that had a radical and permanent transformation on the majority, 91%, I think it said, of the participants in the study was mommy and I are one. The hypothesis was if we can reconnect people to the energetic connection to their mother, that it would heal all illness. It would heal all sickness. It would heal all sickness. That's what it said, that we have to remember that we are her and she is we. Huh? So when I talk to you as the founder of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence, and I talk about, quote, this is the work, and I'm always saying that we are creating a space in real time. What do I say? Who are we? I say all the time as the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. What? That we are the willful, enthusiastic architects of the world made right. That's who we are. The willful and enthusiastic architects of a world made right. And as the willful, enthusiastic participants and architects in this new world, in this new age that we are galloping into, baby, galloping into, that the mother, when I say that we are actively, not have to, we are actively right now in everything that we do and every single day, we are actively preparing a place. We are actively preparing a place for her reemergence. We are actively in our behavior and in our language and in our relationships and in our habits. We are creating a place for her to reemerge, for her to reclaim her stake of dominion over the whole earth. Who is she? She is my black ass. She is your black ass. She is your colored ass. She is your female self. Those of you who are Y-bearing chromosome human beings, she is you. You are at war with self when you harm women. You are at war with self, baby. That's why you're sick. Patriarchy is a disease. It is a cancer that has infected the minds, bodies, and spirits of everybody on earth. Every animal on earth, every tree on earth has been impacted by this malignancy. So when you Y-bearing chromosome human beings set out to stake dominion over women, what you are in fact doing is demonstrating that you are the greatest victims of this malignancy because you have grown so far away from your mother. You have gone so far away from her that you cannot see that you are at war with yourself first, that you cannot even see yourself in your mother's face. Who is your mother? It is your black ass when you look in the mirror. Why chromosome bearing human beings of every race? When you look in the mirror and you don't see anything, if you see anything other than your mother, you are the problem. Your sickness and your giving into the sickness is the problem. So I saw a lot of y'all earlier, sisters, talking about don't call men into the space. Motherfucking right, call men into the space. Call men into the space. Because we need to offer them the opportunity for redemption, baby. What is the opportunity for redemption for Y-bearing chromosome human beings? What does Barbara Walker tell us? That you only got one road to salvation if you carrying a Y-bearing chromosome in this period, in this age. It is to worship at the lotus of your mother's feet. And if you marry, worship your wives as God in your home. That's it. That's all. What does it mean to worship at the lotus of your mother's feet? It means to see divine essence, to see the Shakti in the face of every woman you pass, whether you know her or not, don't matter. That when you see she, you see God. That's all you see. And you act accordingly. That's what it means to worship at the lotus of your mother's feet. It don't mean just your individual mama who happened to give birth to you. That's true. But when this book says that in the Kali Yuga, the only ones who will be spared are those who worship at the lotus of their mother's feet and those who worship their wives as God, she is clear. And when I say she, I don't mean just Barbara Walker. I mean who came through Barbara Walker to give us the word. So we have some work to do. And I get it. Women have every right to be outraged, enraged, upset, and even hate men. I would never deny a woman that. They all have a right, because it is our very real lived experiences that teaches us that we should be fearful of, hateful of, resentful of those that levy out the most terror towards our beingness. But baby, what I always say, what does it mean to say that we are one? It means that we all exist within the body of the mother. This book says all we have to do is remember that we are her, and we will be made well. All we have to remember is that there is no separation from we and her, and we will be made well. Our mental illness will be made well. These are psychologists saying this. These aren't spiritualists. These aren't spiritualists. These are psychologists saying that all we got to do in everything that we do is recognize the reconnection between us and her, that we are not apart from her. She is not apart from us. God is not aloof somewhere the fuck else off in the abyss away from our suffering. She is right here with us. And all we need to do in real time is raise her up, lift her up every time we come into contact with her. What does that mean? It means worshiping at the lotus of your mother's feet. And if you're married, worshiping your wife as God in your crib. You feel me? So, listen. This is the work. And we can make it complicated if we want to. It's not complicated. And sometimes the most complicated thing to do is that which our spirit is telling us to do. You feel me? And we at war with it. We at war with it because it seems too simple. It can't be this easy to end patriarchy. It can't be this simple. You mean all I got to do is worship women? All I got to do is treat women right? All I got to do is treat women right? All I got to do is exalt women? All I got to do is acknowledge the power and the magic that has always existed in their very bodies that allow me access to the mother at will? That's all I got to do? And so it seems, far-fetched. But why should it seem far-fetched? We've been worshiping a patriarchal father God who loves war and loves to bathe in the blood of the innocents for a long time now. 6,000 plus years now. We've been worshiping a father God of war, dressed up in the mother's garments, putting himself as the male mother to us all. We've been doing this for a long time. Seemed to me like the easiest thing to do would just be to switch the gears. Okay, if patriarchy is the issue, if patriarchy is the problem politically, if patriarchy is the problem spiritually, if patriarchy is the problem culturally, if patriarchy is the problem health-wise, mentally, psychologically, just seemed to me like the first and easiest thing to do that we all have access to is to say, okay, well, I'm gonna do everything in opposition to the patriarchy. If the patriarchy says that God is a father, then I'm gonna just on default. Remember I told y'all when I first became a Black nationalist, and I was like, okay, there's so much information out here. There's so much shit that I'm learning that I'm having to unlearn. You feel me? Like this shit is overwhelming. I just started out with saying, okay, so while I'm overwhelmed with this shit, what I'm gonna do is whatever white people say, I'm just automatically gonna take the opposite position. That just seemed like a good place to start. I said that at 24 years old. Whatever the white world say, I'm just gonna take the opposite position. If they say this dude over here is a bad guy, I'm trying to see what he did that the white people mad about. You feel me? If they say he a dictator, I'm trying to see what it is that they doing that's right. You feel me? Well, now I'm saying that again. Damn near 20 years later, 25 years later. If patriarchy say it's this, then if you just start with saying, okay, I'm automatically gonna take the opposite position to everything patriarchy has said, you might be better off without having to do wormhole dives. I'll do the wormhole dives for you. You understand? But just start with that. Child, he is dressed up in the mother's clothes. Why that's funny to you, boo? Imams. What's the man's names? Imams and the what's the Jewish? The rabbis, the priests in the Roman Catholic Church. You understand? They all in dresses. Dressed up in the garments of the mother. She just said it. We just read it. How now it's not enough for them to reverse all of the mother's presence in biblical stories. that they have to also co-opt her characteristics. That's what this book says. That's what the Great Cosmic Mother says. It wasn't enough just to eradicate them from our memory, that they had to co-opt the characteristics of the mother and superimpose them on their male father God. You understand? That's what it's saying. They're not worshiping the mother. Stop saying that. They're not worshiping the mother. I keep telling y'all that. I'm sorry, but stop saying that. They are not worshiping the mother. They are subduing. They are imprisoning. They are spell casting on the mother. They are not worshiping the mother. They are not worshiping the mother. Because who is the mother? The mother is us. The mother is us. Yes, you see the Black Madonna in the Vatican, and they are surrounding her and kissing on her feet and hands up to her and so on and so. They are not worshiping the mother. And the Black Madonna as the personification of the mother, as the image that we can look to as the mother, the black stone in Mecca as the mother, as the personification of the power of the mother, is still us. It's us. That Black Madonna in the Vatican is us. It's Black women. It's colored women. It's women. That's what that Black Madonna is. The black stone in Mecca is us. It's Black women. Why is it surrounded by men dancing widdershins around it? Just like I told you with the golden child, that the only way the evildoers can siphon the power from the pure one, from the magical one, who has the ability to save the world, is to have monks on all four sides in the cardinal directions, praying 24 hours a day. These men in Islam who face, what is it, the East, and pray 3, 4, 12 times a day, however many times a day they pray. What is this? Why is it that only men can make the pilgrimage to Mecca? This is in broad daylight. Men imprisoning through prayer and ritual and spells, binding, bounding, holding captive the explosive power of women. That's why they go so hard. That's why they go so hard. Priests. That's why they go so hard. Imams. That's why they go so hard. Rabbis. That's why they go so hard. Men who are followers of those. It is all centered around the permanent captivity of the power, the boundless, explosive, chaotic power of a woman unbridled, a woman unbound. She that they are holding hostage is us. More than half the population of the planet. Women. More than half the population on the planet. You understand? So stop saying that. Stop saying that. This is not a criticism. This is me begging and imploring you. Stop saying that when you see this shit, that this is, oh, you know, yeah, the Black woman is God, and the evidence of it is this white boy over here in the Vatican kissing the feet of the Black Madonna. Shh. Stop saying that. She is a captive. She is a prisoner. Her home was demolished, and the Vatican built on top of it. She is a captive. The great serpent, who is our mother, she is being held hostage by every man on earth. Not every man on earth. You understand? So, these men are not worshiping her. They are, as they have been for more than 6,000 years, worshiping he says it himself, I, your God, am a jealous God. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. That's the first commandment. Not do not kill, not do not steal, not do not cheat on your baby mama. So the first commandment is I am a jealous God. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. You understand? That's what he's saying. And who are the other gods that he is always jealous of? They are always female deities. Everywhere in the Bible, Every group of people that they legitimate or reason be attacking on these people is because they are goddess worshiping people. Look it up. Every group of people that God say, look, they posted up on your shit, go murk these motherfuckers. They are all goddess worshiping societies. Every last one of them. Here we bigging up Samson, you feel me? Like Delilah was a diabolical bad guy. What's her name? Delilah was a secret agent, baby. She was an agent of the mother. Yes, she was. Oh, did I trigger somebody? Delilah was an agent of the mother. She was like, this motherfucker coming up in here, coming up in our shit, trying to run shit, trying to kill people, and gonna set his eyes on me? Gonna set his eyes on me? Gonna try to boo me? Oh, I got something for you. I got something for you. I got something for you. Yeah, I'll boo you. Come on in here. Like you think you about to get you some. Come on in here. I got something for you. And just like the Christians do, what she do? Just listen, this is a word I'm telling y'all about Delilah. Just like the Christians do, what she did? Because the Christians say the seat of a woman's witchy power is in her head hair. That's what they say. That's what they say. That's why they scalped all the Indians. That's why they shaved all the body hair off women before sending them to the stakes. You feel me? Because they said the seat of all their, quote, devilish power was in their head hair. So what she do? She said, oh, yeah, okay, y'all opposed to the head hair. Y'all say all the magic is in the head hair. That's what the scriptures say about Samson. That the secret to his power was in his head hair. That he should never cut his hair. You feel me? Ain't that what they said? And Delilah was the bad guy. You feel me? Delilah was the bad guy. Because, you know, we always empathize with the men. Because us diabolical women just have witchy ways that make them act against their best interest. You feel me? And so she said, oh, you going to slay my people. You going to slaughter my people in war. And then come over here, call yourself setting sights on me? Bitch, I got something for you. Come on in here, boo. You know you want to. You know you want to get close to me. And then she spiked this motherfucking drink like y'all do. Like y'all niggas do. She flipped the script. That's what she did. She flipped the script. She spiked this motherfucking drink. She said, oh, you done made this pact with the Lord. You done made this pact with your war-mongering ass God who done came up into our shit, disrupting our motherfucking peace because God say, this y'all shit? Okay, cool. I got something for you. Spiked this motherfucking drink and shaved his hair off. Oh, if the seat of your power is your hair, then let me get that. Let me get that. And shaved his hair off. Meanwhile, we little girls reading these fucking stories about giants among men, these women, and rooting for the bad guy, child, rooting for our oppressors. See, Samson, he did that. He came back and he rescued the people. Delilah was the hero of that story back. Jezebel understood the assignment. That's what she did. Jezebel understood the assignment. She knew what was coming. What was coming? When they invited the Hebrews into their land to exist peacefully, and then Jacob went and drugged all the men who agreed. The men agreed. They was like, look, my son, the prince, you feel me? He got feelings for your daughter. He didn't give a fuck about his daughter. We don't even know about Jacob's daughter. That Jacob didn't, the 12 tribes of Judah, there were 13, but we don't ever hear about her because she was a woman. See, he had 12 sons and he had a daughter named Dinah. Oh, yes, he did. We barely know about her. They only mention her for about a paragraph in the Bible, Dinah. But she became the excuse that the Hebrews needed. They were existing on somebody else's land, Jezebel's land. Peacefully. They was like, yeah, y'all can post up on our shit. You understand? And she say, and so Dinah, now there are two versions of the story. Now, if y'all have read The Red Tent, then that is like a furthering along the story. I have a friend who is a Jewish woman who told me another version of the story. I didn't even know. Shit blew my mind because it ain't in the Bible, but she said it's in the Torah. She said the first time the Torah even mentions circumcision is this story, where Dinah, now some stories say that Dinah was raped by the king's son, the prince. Other stories say that she fell in love with the king's son and was like, deuces, I'm out, because she was, quote, a female child. She wasn't even acknowledged by Jacob. That's what they say in the book, that she was not even acknowledged, that she was mistreated because she was just a female. That the 12 sons that he gave birth to were the important ones. And she was the seventh child. She was the seventh born child. She was a girl. And she was basically just like not given no clout in the clique. And so she was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go and hang out with the women over in the town, in the kingdom, where we done posted up at. And she go over there. Some say she was raped by the dude. No, that's not what happened. She fell in love with the dude. That's the story. She fell in love with the dude, came back, was like, look, I want to marry the prince. The prince want to marry me. We in love, right? But but she lost her virginity to him. She was no longer a virgin. And her brother, her 13th brother, saw what happened, or heard from the women what happened, that she had sex with the prince. And before she could come back and tell Jacob, he went back and told Jacob that she had been raped by the prince. You understand? He said, look, our sister was raped by the prince before she could come back. So what we gonna do? Right? They didn't give a fuck about her, but they was like, what we gonna do? They were looking for an end to do what they wanted to do anyway, what God had already told them they could always do. Post up on somebody else's shit and then slay everybody. That's your shit. And so what happened was, when she came back and she was like, look, we in love or whatever, the prince came with her and was like, look, I love your daughter. I'll do whatever it is you want me to do. Just let her be my wife. Right? And so what had happened was, at least according to my Jewish friend who has read the Torah, according to that story, what had happened was, now mind you, she said to me, this Jewish woman, that this story is the first time circumcision is ever even mentioned in the Torah. She said that Jacob called for a meeting with the king and his son and said, look, the prince said, we'll do whatever it is you want us to do so that I can marry your daughter. And Jacob said, every man in this kingdom has to be circumcised. Every man in the kingdom has to be circumcised, and then we'll give you our daughter's hand in marriage. But they had already gone plotting on the kingdom. So all the men agreed, every man in the kingdom. And what they did was, with using obsidian blades with no anesthesia, cut the foreskin off of all the males in the kingdom. And it said that they were in so much pain, and it took them days to attempt to recover. And while they were in recovery, while they were sick from their injuries, the Hebrews, Jacob clique, came through and massacred all the men. That's the story that the Jewish girl told me about the origin of circumcision. That they came through and circumcised every male in the kingdom, and while they were recovering from their injuries, slaved them all. Meanwhile, Dinah had to run into hiding. Some stories say that she was sold to Egypt by her father, but she had to go into hiding, and this is where the story of the red tent emerges from, is after she leaves her people, after her would-be husband was murdered along with his father and everybody else. This is the Jewish woman telling me this. And that the red tent picks up where that story left off. Okay? So, how did I even get on that? Anyway. I got on that because, look, I'm going to restate what I said. Y'all heard it here. And I'm seeing all y'all, all of your comments, and I appreciate you. Let me just tell you, there are no chosen people. The mother chose us all. We all exist, therefore we are chosen. So that is the first thing that we must say. Anytime somebody trying to bring some, because I see it all. I see all the shit happening. Oh, well, you are you got, what do they call it? You are an Islamophobe, and you are an anti-Semite, and you are distractions, literally born out of the belly of hell itself. Distractions. I am not an Islamophobe. I do not have hatred towards any single individual born into a worldview that they call is Islam. I do not hate Islamic men. I do not hate Islamic women. I do not hate Islamic children. I am not an anti-Semite. I do not have hatred for Hebrew, Jewish, Israeli human beings as individuals. Not a one. Don't have hate for none of them. What I hate, will always loathe, will forever condemn are patriarchal institutions that currently govern the entire world. Every single solitary one, baby. All of them. Religious, political, medical institutions that do the poor God's will, baby. I am opposed to them all. Equally opposed to them all. That's what we have to be prepared to say. All this kumbaya shit and all this, coexist shit with patriarchal religions. The hell you say? The hell you say? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The hell you say? We cannot coexist with patriarchy. That means any of its faces, any of its institutions, hidden or otherwise, we cannot. The evidence is clear. We have attempted to coexist, not even just coexist, exist on the terms that they set with patriarchy. It cannot be, because patriarchy is the religion of the war godhead. Patriarchy is the religion of the god of war's head, the war godhead. Patriarchy. So we can't coexist with that shit. The mother is demanding some outlandish shit, baby. The mother is demanding some bodacious and radical shit, y'all. Y'all get ready. Y'all talking about, somebody said, let's say Sage Sister said, was talking about Lilith and talking about Delilah. You understand? Child, the mother has got a whole ass attitude, and she's like, I'm about to be calling on y'all to do some radical shit. You understand? I'm about to be calling on y'all. What is it? What is the scripture that says, hold on, where's the scripture that says, where is it? The scripture that says that 1 Samuel 15:23. Huh? 1 Samuel 15:23 says that rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. Rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. Let's see. Let's see. I see the perspective very true. I was looking for her to say something positive about herself, but I didn't hear that. Not that I can recall. About whose self? Yeah, who y'all talking about? About herself. Sharing her dark night of the soul purification through the mother with us on a deep level, even if she herself might not understand the symbolism fully. Listen, let me tell you. So anyway, I'm now totally going to be done. This was good. I appreciate you for rocking with me. It was a little lengthier than usual. I usually try to keep the service at exactly 2 hours, but we are over that by a lot. Next week, though, this is exciting. Next week, I will have all the information. Like I said, I will be putting out some, like a flyer and an Eventbrite and all of that stuff. Meg the Stallion has a new video called Cobra. Oh, I need to see that. Let me take a note. I appreciate all of y'all's help. That was really dope. How everybody came to task when I needed stuff looked up. Yeah, I like that. I like having a research committee live and on deck. I dig that. Meg the Stallion. Oh, but y'all saw the video she did called Her. Let me tell you, I'm her. her. I'm she. Right? She, me, thee. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen. And then what's her name? Alice Smith got a song called She. Baby, him and I'm T. Wait. She wears a high heel shoes at night. Nobody knows what it's been like. Hey, to have a song inside to sing, but nobody's listening. But you. That's in the morning when the set is due. It's through. Some. And let me tell you, I'm she. Baby, hear me, I'm she. Yeah, y'all need to get, that's the jam right there. Okay? That's Alice Smith. She. That's that funk right there. Yeah, these women, let's see, what you say that song was? Yeah, okay. Yeah, but we all have to be able to articulate this. We all have to be able to articulate these images. We all have to be able to articulate why it is we stand with the mother, because there are going to, and it can't be just me. What I am talking to you all about is the emergence of she, the emergence of the one. That is us. That is us. So just like I will slop and I will break things down, you feel me? I do that because I want you to be able to see what I see, hear what I hear, say what I say. I want you to be able to articulate the mother's will everywhere and in all spaces. I want you to be able to decode for many what they are seeing and why it is not what they thought it was. That's the reason that we have to get into this book. That's the reason that we have to relearn images. That's the reason that we all need to own as our own personal textbooks. The Women's Encyclopedia of Myths and Secrets. The Women's Dictionary of Symbols and Sacred Objects. We need to know, why is it that we have as our logo, as a temple of evolutionary emergence, the sacred cosmic egg surrounded by the Ouroboros? Why is this the symbol? Because it is all encompassing. It is the singular all embodiment of the entire essence and all the personifications and faces of the goddess in one image. This is her. This is her. Do you understand? This is why she is our logo. This is why she is our logo. So I hope in the time that I spend with you, because I'm on here 6 days a week with y'all, 7 days this week. I hope that I can articulate more than anything that I'm not in here to entertain you. That's not why I'm here. I'm not here to entertain you. When I come in here asking you for money, telling you to donate to this institution, I am deadly and incredibly serious about it. What it is we have the potential to do, what it is we are primed to do. I am not here entertaining you. I hope y'all know that, because I can find easier and more advantageous and more monetarily beneficial ways to entertain. I promise I could. I promise that I could. I am not here to entertain you. I am here to embolden you. I am here to make sure that what you are imagining, is real. What you are imagining as the call is real. What you are feeling in your body as the urgency of the whole planet is real. It is the call. It is the call. Do you understand? I hope you know. I hope you know. And I hope you know that just like your ugly ass preacher do on every Sunday, Where's that? Just like your ugly ass preacher do on every Sunday, I too will begin to do. Every time I'm online, I'm going to pass the plate. This is my plate. I'm going to pass the plate. I'm going to ask you to support the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. Make your contributions. Make your tithes. Make your offering to the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. Do that. Do that. This year is monumental. This institution needs to be funded. This institution needs to be set the fuck off. This institution needs skills. And I want to tell you this. I've been saying this since the very beginning, but I want to reiterate this all the time. That when I call on you for your skills, I want to make this clear. I want you to hold me to it. I have been tied to so many organizations in the past where they guilt you into working for free. I am not interested in that, because the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence is in real time building the world we say we want to see made real. In the world that I want to see made real, I want to see people always compensated the value of that which they offer. 501c3s propping themselves up primarily off free labor that they guilt out of people. Oh, well, if you had unity, oh, well, if you really united with, well, if you really believed in this work, you do this shit for free. I'm not asking anybody to do anything for free for this institution. Do you understand what I'm saying? What I am saying is I do not have a budget right now for the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. Everything is, every time I get money, I'm tackling another issue. I'm tackling another issue. I'm tackling another issue, right? But in the budget that we are creating in real time, what I want to happen is, if you volunteer in any way, I want you to tell me what the value of your service, influx of money, when we are actively fundraising, when we are actively getting grants, when we are actively doing the work to fund this project. I want you to expect to be compensated for the work that you contributed in the foundational stages of this work. From my mouth to the goddess's ear, I want this. If you want to volunteer, cool. I have a friend who says, look, you don't owe me nothing. I live well. I have a good life. These are the skills that I want to offer you because I believe in you. I believe in the work that you're doing. Right on. But I am telling you, if you come and you volunteer and you say, listen, I love what you're doing, but I need to get paid for this, even if it can't be for 6 months or a year, just expect that this is what my service costs. And I would like to be paid as soon as the resources are coming in regularly for the institution. And I will say, right on, let's put it in the ledger so that we can make sure that we pay people for the value of their labor. All of it. All of it. Artists in particular, musicians in particular. I've been involved in organizations that treat cultural workers as if that which they produce is valueless. Oh, you just do it on the strength. Oh, you just do it on the strength. I reject that. So this is our shit to build. This is our shit to build. This is everybody listening. Everybody listen. Like I said, everybody on the planet is an honorary member. Now, if you want to be, that's cool. This is what it means. If you don't want to be, you can say, cool, I renounce it. But everybody is an honorary member because everybody materialized on this motherfucker right here out of uterus. Out of uterus. Okay? So if you got a mama, even if you don't know her name, baby, you're an honorary member of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. You understand? Now, those of us who are willing, enthusiastic, ecstatic architects of the future that we want to see made real, with the mother at the helm driving this bitch, then those of you who I'm talking to, now we can get to work. Okay? There are things that need to happen most urgently, most radically, most urgently. And we'll talk about some of those things on Tuesday. I promise, I make a commitment to send out the emails to everybody that emailed me about being interested, being interested in helping me form or create the event for the solstice this year. So we're going to have that meeting on Tuesday. I will send you the Zoom link and the information for that meeting today. Before today's end, I will send you that link. If you do not know what I'm talking about but are interested in help, it does not matter where you are from. You can be from India, you can be from wherever. If you're interested in helping me build the event that we're going to do on the solstice of this year, then email me at releaseheartcenter releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. In the subject header, make sure you put event committee. Put event committee. Okay. And I will email you the link to the first event committee meeting that we're going to have on Tuesday. Okay. I see you, Lavender Mint Show. Honey, do your thing. Do your thing. This offering would be my offering to the Great Mother, honored to volunteer for this work. That's right on. So you're dreaming right now. Email me, releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. Those of you who are tuning in from IG, if you want to contribute to the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence, there are multiple ways. I will just tell you them. Those of you who are tuning in via Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, look at the bottom of the screen. Scrolling across the bottom of the screen are the methods with which you can make a donation. To make a donation via Cashapp, $IyapoNgina, spelled IyapoNgina. Venmo, Cassandra Floyd. Cassandra with a C Floyd. If you want to make a donation through Zelle, it is my email address, releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. And if you want to make a donation through PayPal, it is at IyapoNgina, @IyapoNgina, IyapoNgina. Okay, I will say those again because, and I appreciate, I read out a long list of people that have donated over the last week and a half. I will start doing that regularly because we have been getting donations. So I want to make sure that I shout everybody out that is offering donations to the temple. And so maybe every couple of days or so, I'll start printing out a list that I can start shouting y'all all out. Let's see. So Cashapp, $IyapoNgina. First letter of each name capitalized. Venmo, Cassandra, CASSANDRA-FLOYD. First letters capitalized. releaseheartcenter@gmail.com for Zelle, and at IyapoNgina, @IyapoNgina for PayPal. Okay. Thank you, Lavender. I appreciate that. Lavender says I will totally donate. That's what I want too, Lavender. I want a temple too. Like right now. Oh, so that's what I was saying. So, next Sunday, November 12th, we have an on-location temple service for the first time in several months. We have an on-location temple service, November 12th. And from that day on, every Sunday, we will be doing temple service on location. So those of you that are in the greater Los Angeles area and actually want to come to the location to be involved in temple service, I will have all that information up today with the Evite and the Eventbrite and all of that stuff posted on my Facebook and so on and so forth. Also, I am looking for artists. So when I did have the art gallery, I was featuring local artists, musical artists, like cultural artists and print artists. We were featuring a different artist's, work, like paintings in the gallery. I would still like to do something like that. So, so if you're interested in performing, if you have sound bath skills, if you're a singer, if you're a musician, and you would like to make offerings at the beginning of our temple services, please get in touch with me, releaseheartcenter@gmail.com, releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. So that's all that I have for you, I think. I appreciate, okay, Lavender Mint Snow. Okay, Lavender Mint Snow is a painter. Awesome. So we need to talk. And I also need somebody with graphic design skills. Anybody out there with graphic design skills? Because this logo that was painted by a local artist, she was the first person that I had. For those of you who are tuning in via IG, that's our logo right there with my microphone in the way. This young woman, I petitioned to design or conceptualize the design that I wanted for the logo for the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. I need this like made digital. So I'm probably going to take it down to the library and have it scanned. The email is releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. And that is also the email you will send to me if you're interested in getting a reading from me. If you're interested in getting a wellness consultation from me. The wellness consultation, I actually do a complete intake with you, a diagnostic process, a protocol for you, and then I draw that up. I type that up for you and email that to you within 5 to 7 days of the consult. Okay, so because that's my day gig is as a healthcare professional. Okay, so if you're interested in a reading, that is tarot, I Ching, and dream interpretation. If you are interested in a reading, or if you are interested in a wellness consultation, a complete wellness consultation, you can also email me at releaseheartcenter@gmail.com, and make sure you put what it is you're emailing about in the subject header, because I'm getting a lot of emails, and unfortunately a lot of emails are going to spam. So I need to know what it is you're emailing me for, so I can cipher through my spam and make sure you don't get lost in the mix. Okay, so that's all I have. It's been a long service, so it was good though. It was good, but it was long. So now I'm gonna switch gears. I got some stuff I gotta get done today. Yes, I am on Facebook. Okay, so Facebook, you guys can find me on Facebook as Cassandra Faye Floyd. Once you add me as a friend on Facebook, we have 2 pages in particular. I have 3 pages that I run that are important. But the 2 main ones are the Great Cosmic Mother Book Club. The second one is the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence Group. So the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence Group and the Great Cosmic Mother Book Club group. And yeah, so those are the 2 main ones. I am also reminding you all that this Wednesday is going to be the first book club for the book that we're currently reading. Is going to be, and so the book club we will be doing the book club via Zoom. It will not be live. It will be on Zoom. The only way you can get into or access the book club is through reaching out to me via email, putting book club in the header. But this is the book that we're currently on, a little more than halfway through. But we start the book club deep dive this Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I have been getting a lot of trolls in my Zoom, so I don't make those posts public anymore. Okay, so the only way you're going to be able to get into the book club is if I email you the link directly and ask you to not. You can share it as long as don't share it publicly. Share it to people you know directly. You feel me? But the only way you're going to be able to get into the book club is if you have that link. All right. So email me today, book club, if you want to be in on the book club discussion that we're going to start this Wednesday on Pure Lust. We're going to be rocking with this book as the book club for a hot minute. I will have information about the book club in the Great Cosmic Mother Book Club Facebook group. I am Cassandra, or Daughter of the Fates, on Twitter. Obviously, Daughter of the Fates on YouTube. If you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, I am still shy about 100 subscribers before I can start monetizing my page. So if you're tuning in from IG and you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, if you're tuning in from Facebook or Twitch and you have not yet subscribed, go to my YouTube channel, which is at Daughter of the Fates, and subscribe and share and all the stuff, right? Okay, now that's definitely it. So next week, thank you, Asia. So next week, I'm debating. It depends on what I feel as I divine for myself this week, as I throw for myself this week, what I'm going to talk about on next service. I think it might just be a general kind of like opening, welcoming service, since we're going to have this new location. Since we're going to have this new location, I'm really hype about it. So I want it to kind of be like a festive type of temple service, like, because I'm going to erect the altar there. I'm going to do all the things. And so I would like for it to be kind of more a celebratory temple service. We might get back into the Bible, because like I said, I really want to get deep into this end time prophecy shit so that we can dismantle this shit and create an equal and opposing message that is completely antithetical to end of the world biblical prophecy. So, yes, yay! Thank everybody for participating. Erica, Asia, Lavender, Mint Show. Let's see. Goddess Essence Energy, Carlotta, Grace Jackson, Mystique, Monami, Nura Allah, You Are Dreaming Right Now, Letitia, Nikki Nikita, let's see, Shanice Coleman, who else? Am I forgetting anybody? Letitia, Shauna Michelle, Erica, Lotus Flower, Y Turner. Yes. Thank everybody. Sharita, thank you so much for tuning in. I have two Asias on the line actually. So Asia and Asia. I think that's everybody. Samara, KO, Yellow Rose, Charla Renee. Yes. Yeah, y'all was in here squad deep today. Yes. Erica De Niro TV. Thank you so much for shouting me out to others. Thank you so much for that. Chloe Dior, KD, Leger. Yeah, everybody was in here squad deep today. I love it. And thank you so much. I cannot say enough how much I appreciate y'all just being ready, just like jolly on the spot and ready to help me with my little etymological digs in real time. I love that. Those of you tuning in from IG, Roz Ray Ray 242, Joy Dances, Sage Sister, Divine 7 RBG, Bonita Black, Balagoon W, Pyramid Power Games, Pac-Man Wakui, I think. Yeah, Wakui. Sean D'Angelo, Sad Kitty Cat 22, Oma Tasla, thank you so much for your help. Cantomblé Healing, thank you for tuning in to get today. I thank you so much for that. Yes. Everybody was in his squad deep today. I'm here for it. Big Baba Otuaro, Third Eye Pharaoh. Let's see. Akram Burton, Chili D. Williams. Yes. Lotus Flower. Okay. I hope I got everybody. Thank everybody for tuning in, rocking with me the whole time. Yellow Rose says she's about to turn around and rewatch this live. Thank you so much, KD. I love you guys too. Yes. Okay. So I'll see you guys tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for the reading of Pure Lust by Mary Daly. That will happen every day this week. Janice Bright, greetings, sis. Thank you so much for tuning in. So every day, Monday through Friday, we are reading Pure Lust by Mary Daly. For those of you who don't know, this was one of the major books referenced by Barbara Moore in the book, The Great Cosmic Mother, Rediscovering the Religion of the Earth. So this is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful piece of work, child. So 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time every day, the reading of Pure Lust. Now, Wednesday, the reading will be pre-recorded because Wednesday we will be in a Zoom conference discussing the book, Pure Lust. So again, if you're interested, releaseheartcenter@gmail.com, book header, book club. I'll send you the email link to the Zoom and we can get it. Okay. Thank you so much. May the goddess bless you in every possible way. Prosperity, abundance, love, life, happiness, all aligned with justice. All aligned with justice. My name is Cassandra Faye Floyd, also known as the daughter of the Fates, founder of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. I will see you again tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Peace.